This prophecy is how they enslave us.
Its idea is that
So how does Armageddon come together?
Armageddon will come in at the end of those end times, at the end of the tribulation period. Napoleon, when he saw the Megiddo Valley, he said, "This is the greatest battlefield on the planet," having no idea prophetically what he was speaking, because the Battle of Armageddon will take place there. Jesus will return. Revelation chapter 19, the Word of God will come out of his mouth, and he will obliterate the enemy.
So is that Megiddo?
Yep. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to see, and it is a battlefield, a crescent battlefield.
But describe it. Why did Napoleon say it was such a great battle?
Well, when he saw it, because the way it's situated in the mountains, there's a valley, and there's really one way in, but then there's really no way out. So those groups, those nations are going to come down into that valley. Jesus is going to show up and annihilate
So
it.
it's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. And God's already set the trap. You better get on the right side of history, ladies and gentlemen, because God is always right.
one eschatology, Zionist eschatology, is confronting now with the other Shiite eschatology. And American Protestants, radical Protestants, or Judeo-Christians, as they religious way of reading Scofield's Bible. So we have very strange, weird mixture between postmodernity and pre-modernity, or some eschatological version of traditional religions that intersect in this quantum ontology of modern geopolitics. Something very ancient, very, very traditional, with some weird interpretations.
The year that Mashiach would come, all the leaders of the world will fight against each other. Look now what's happening now. Everybody fights against everyone. Everyone fights against everyone until all of a sudden Mashiach would come. One prophecy said that the problem will start between Iran and Arabia, Persia and Arabia. That's very common. That's very common sense. Makes a lot of sense because they are the biggest enemies, Saudis and Iran.
Saudi helped with the attack on Iran,
Occupied Saudi,
clearly allied with Israel and the United States.
They'll make a move in Saudi. Next thing, United States will interfere, especially if Trump will be the president. And all of a sudden, the whole world will be on fire. Just like the word of the prophet Zechariah. What is the prophet says? That before Mashiach come, Edom, Esav, and Ishmael will have a big war, as we can see in front of our eyes now. The Christians and the Muslims. The Muslims begin to attack churches all over the world. ISIS killing all kinds of priests and Christians and burning churches, and it's only going to be worse and worse. Esav and Ishmael will have a big war. They'll kill each other non-stop. There will be bloodsheds all over until a moment would come that they will say, wait a minute, why are we killing each other? We shouldn't have any problem with each other. We have a mutual enemy, the Jews. And they make a covenant and they become allies.
Sneeko is doing that right now.
And all the nations of the world come to steal Yerushalayim from Jews by force. This is written all in Zechariah 14 and in the words of Chazal. But when Mashiach comes, it will all be over. Zechariah 14. If you're brave, only if you're really brave, read it. If not, better you don't. Why? It's very depressing. It describes how the end would be. What will happen in the world, how Hashem will purify the world, all the things that will happen, and how Hashem would finally take revenge against all these anti-Semites that constantly torture us for thousands of years. There will be finally the day that Hashem will pay them all back for what they did. The only problem is that we, the Jews, don't come out clean completely. There will be a period of time that will be all kinds of problems in Yerushalayim and Eretz Israel until Mashiach will step in the mountain behind the Bet HaMikdash and will build the third Bet HaMikdash, and there will be resurrection of the dead. There will be a period of time that I don't want to describe here to you. But if you really want to know what the prophet wrote, go to Zechariah 14 and read it over there.
So I see no other way to interpret what is going on, because if we say it is all about oil, it is all about the market, it is all about technology or rivalry between some national states, that doesn't explain anything at all. The classical form of expertises of interpretations, they don't work anymore.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Huge show, so much to cover, so many tabs, so many clips. We got started there with an amazing new intro from See Through It All. This prophecy is how they enslave us. Amalek is here, is back to discuss everything unfolding. Tons of stuff to get into. What's up? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
So first story, everybody's tweeting about this morning. U.S. commanders across more than 30 military bases told troops Iran war is part of God's plan and linked it to Armageddon. Cannon fodder, Goyim cannon fodder being led to their deaths in war, in Armageddon. Led to the slaughter. A commander said Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. The Military Religious Freedom Foundation says it has received over 110 similar complaints describing the war as biblically sanctioned and a sign of the Christian end times. If only people would have listened. The prophecy deception, this apocalyptic death cult. Dude, Amalek, we got Iran's doing their prophecies, the Muslims doing their prophecies, Israel doing their prophecies, Russia and Ukraine doing their war propaganda videos, praying to God and doing the scriptures, calling it holy war. America calling it a holy war.
It's competitive, messianic, apocalyptic Judaism. That's what's going on.
Unreal. Saying Trump is anointed by Jesus to lead us into Armageddon like he's the Messiah, the Antichrist. Another anointing like the Messiah. Anointed means Messiah. The Messiah of Edom leading us into battle against Persia. And they literally assassinated Kamani on the fucking, I'm already cursing, on the Amalek day. Remembering what Amalek did to you day. Unreal. U.S. troops reports commanders framing Iran war as God's plan. Oh, there's even more here. Service members report unrestricted euphoria among segments of the chain of command portraying the assault on Iran as biblically sanctioned in times tied to end times prophecy in the book of Revelation. One NCO wrote that such rhetoric is eroding morale and violating constitutional oaths, particularly for troops in ready support status who could be deployed at any moment. Dude, sacrificing them to Yahweh in the Gog and Magog meat grinder.
Think about what they're saying there. What he's saying there is he's talking about the readiness of the military and getting demoralized. So what he's talking about is that the leadership, and this is true, the leadership and the officers and the generals and the major command, all these higher end people, they're more prone to being part of this messianic fever, believing in the Christianity thing and all these things because of their background. A lot of them come from Christian schools or Christian backgrounds, and what they're saying is that the lower rung, the enlisted and people like that, a lot of them are like not religious, I would say, or if they are, they might be...
They're being propagandized too with all the Christianity, and starting at the top with Pete Hegseth, the Christ Crusader with the Jerusalem cross and Yeshua tattoo, and infidel tattoo in Arabic, and they have turned Christ as King into their Gog and Magog final war of Edom, mantra.
Yeah, it's the war cry. It's the battle cry. Going into battle, Christ is King that is the slogan for the war in Iran. Straight up.
Yeah, and he's a third temple cultist.
1948 was a miracle. 1967 was a miracle. 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle. And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
How is this allowed? How is this allowed? Apocalyptic prophetic death cults in charge of the Department of War in our presidency and the Speaker of the House and Ted Cruz and on and on and on. In Israel, the Likudniks, the Orthodox rabbis, the Knesset. Like, we can't have guys leading our military that believe in apocalyptic third temples.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Meanwhile, they're pointing to the Shia Islam and saying they're an apocalyptic, prophetic. They have prophetic delusions.
It's also been very President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense.
But Israel, when their prophetic delusions, the OGs of prophetic apocalyptic delusions, they have illegal nukes and nobody says anything about it, and they're attacking all their neighbors. You just wrote an article about Iranian eschatology. You want to give us a quick elevator rundown of what that was about, real quick?
Yeah, essentially, I just put it up on my Twitter. There's an article there now that basically what it's describing is how Iran is like eschatologically frozen in this battle against Judaism.
Paralyzed.
And against, prophetically paralyzed.
Prophetically paralyzed, yes.
Yeah. So, and essentially what it does is I go in and I describe the end time stuff. You know, everyone here I think is familiar with the Gog and Magog and Christianity's version of things and Judaism's version of things. But what we often miss is the Islamic version of things. So, and specifically the Shia one, which is extremely rigid in its structure. So how all the other ones have like interpretations and, you know, arguments and things like that. The way that the Shia one, it's like on this calendar day, this will happen, and then this will happen. And it's very like step-by-step process. And I explain how because the supernatural parts of their prophecy, which is that Gabriel, the archangel Gabriel, will blow a trumpet, and that the world will know that Shia is the true religion of the world, and that the Mahdi is coming. That's basically like their savior figure. Because that's not going to happen. That's so early on in the structure, in the structure of their end times eschatology, that basically they're frozen in a state of paralysis.
And many other powerful Jews not being religious, and yet still committing to Israel and other Jewish causes.
Epstein was celebrating all the Jewish holidays. They know the lore. They're calling us goyim. Whether they're particularly ultra-realistic, religious or not doesn't really matter. This is why it's stupid they're calling it the Epstein War. Like, this is the Netanyahu War. This is the Judaism War. This is the prophecy war. Like, limiting it to an Epstein thing is minimizing it and deflecting completely. So the point is they're frozen, that they feel that they can't really have like their final battle until their Mahdi comes to defeat the Dajjal, just like Christians.
Yeah, it's basically like, look, I'll put it this way. I'm in the article very quickly. I'm explaining that the psychology behind what they are, how they are acting, and why it's always seems like they won't just like go and finish the whole thing and have a huge climactic battle. I explain that in the article, essentially why that is. And it basically, if you don't understand that would be like trying not to understand, like if there was a evangelical Christian theocracy, then like ignoring their theology and the way that their religion's structured and pretending it didn't exist. You can't really understand Iran, which is a Shia theocracy, without understanding this.
I just had a thought. Now that the Ayatollah has been killed on the Amalek Day, that opens the door for the 12th Imam, for some new leader, for them to all believe it's the 12th Imam. Last year, didn't they raise their red flag too, which indicated something about the Mahdi was about to return?
Yeah, it's part of these prophecies they have. You know, some of them are related to all of geopolitics, right? So like a good example is they believe a guy will rise out of Yemen, and that there's going to be it's like the Yamani or something like that. I don't know any of these words. I just read them. But the Yamani will rise out of Yemen, and he will be this like a figure that it's like a proto Mahdi basically, and that his rise will signify the Mahdi's coming. And you know, Iran, like, their foreign policy is supporting the Houthis in Yemen, right? Like, so you can see how much these end times prophecies dictate their actual policy. It's not just some random thing. The clerics in their government form are built into the government in the same way our government has, like, it's very bureaucratic and administrative, and there's a lot of capitalists that are embedded into our government structure. Imagine if instead of capitalists embedded in your government structure, you had essentially what are Shia clerics with, you know, differing views on some of this stuff, but overall what I'm describing is the psychological core of Shia, which is like basically the concept of waiting. They basically idolize the concept of waiting in the way that Christians idolize the concept of Jesus returning. They have this thing where they feel themselves as these solemn, ever watchful guardians that will just wait through anything and persevere through it all, right?
Yep. And now we have all the Abrahamic religions converging in this apocalyptic frenzy on the verge of the Gog and Magog war. We got Dune coming out at the end of the year that is all called Dune Messiah, all about how this secret society is manipulating all these sides and the Dune planet, that there's a Messiah that's going to come and save them in some apocalyptic war. We got Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ is about to come out as well, really going to get into a Christian revival, messianic frenzy, rise in anti-Christian controlled op, anti-Semitism. And we have Judaism's end times prophecies are all possible. They're political. They don't require like magical figures coming down from the clouds and doing supernatural things. And they're the originals. They're the ones with the secrets. They're the ones that can practically happen. And they got the Christians and the Muslims sitting by waiting for the Jews to fulfill their prophecies, because then they feel like their prophecies are being fulfilled and they're going to have their Savior come in the end, and the Savior's never coming. They're trusting the plan and they're being hung out to dry and let off a cliff, and they need to wake up to it quick. And anybody promoting prophecies right now is part of the problem. Prophecies is real as part of the problem.
Yep.
All right. Trump talks about him and Netanyahu are being asked about, was America forced into the war by Israel? Here's Trump's comments first.
Did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand.
See,
we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And
rise and kill first. Rise and kill first military strategy, though we know they were, as if they could get us.
we have great negotiators, great people.
Or as if we couldn't wait until they launched, shot them down, and then flattened them because they attacked, out of nowhere. Or it's not really out of nowhere, but, that's how they could have framed it.
People that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel...
Total gaslighting.
And we've had a very, very powerful impact.
Dude. They're like, he's surrounded by bad people. They're lying to him. They're tricking him. And now he goes, actually, it was my idea. I wanted to do it. He's just trying to own it and make it seem like he's the authority and he's in control. Nobody is buying that shit.
They totally have him convinced that there's going to be like a book of Trump, right? Like they are totally have him hyped up on this concept, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they fed his messianic ego to the moon. Here is Netanyahu on Hannity, which Trump promoted too. He's like, everybody watch Netanyahu on Hannity tonight. It's going to be really great.
And I want to ask you this, there are people that say, well, the prime minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. And as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything, number one, but I want to get your reaction.
Caden 13 sent $5 on Rumble. As an upside, if the Islamic Republic falls, Christian eschatology gets undermined. They need Iran for a future Magog war, but if this was the Magog war, why did their Jesus never appear?
No. The rabbis say that Iran goes down, Edom rules for 9 months, and then there's war with Russia and China. And maybe Turkey in there somewhere too. They're all talking about attacking Turkey now next. What?
Gog and
Go ahead.
Magog is Russia. Russia is that's
Right.
that's who it's the northern nation, and they're all interpreting
Yeah.
that as Russia. It was used
Yeah.
for Persia previously, but right now that's not how they're interpreting it.
Exactly.
To that.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world. He does what he thinks is right for America. He does also what he thinks is right for future generations. And frankly, we're partners in that effort because I've devoted my life to securing the life of the one and only Jewish state. And believe me, it's been a struggle.
And I want to ask you this, there are people that say,
Okay. People that say, funny that's the main damage control they have to come out with because everybody knows it's true. That's clearly why.
You could never have had true peace in the Middle East if...
But he's looking real orange
never
today.
had true peace in the Middle East if Iran was allowed to go, even beyond the nuclear. If Iran was allowed to have look at all the missiles they built. A lot have been now taken out by us, and a lot have been expended. But they had thousands of missiles in a fairly short period of time. And I'll go two things. The attack that we did, known as Midnight Hammer, had we not done that, Iran would have had a very powerful nuclear weapon within 1 month. We did it. It was great timing, but, and you've been able to see that too. The other thing was Barack Hussein Obama made maybe the worst deal I've ever seen, because he gave all power in the Middle East to Iran. He went the exact opposite way, and I terminated that. If I didn't terminate that deal, they would be sitting with a massive nuclear weapon 3 years ago, which would have been used already on Israel at least, and other countries also. And we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
You can claim that, they can claim that, but the fact is they never actually did that. They denied they were ever doing that. And if it did, you don't have the capability to shoot it down right away and then flatten them? You think that they're really on a suicide mission to do that? They want all of their families and their whole nation, blown off the face of the earth? I don't buy that. I don't buy it.
We have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully.
Mr. President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran?
Do this very successfully. I didn't want that to happen.
Okay, we played that one already. Here's another one.
I looked at him, I said, you're crazy? These people, they're crazy. Just like the people on my right during the State of the Union. I looked at him, I said, you're crazy? These people are crazy. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. They're crazy. Just like the people on my missiles that are hitting in, those are stationary. Those happened all very quickly. We thought, and I thought maybe more so than most, I could ask Marco, but I thought we were going to have a situation where we were going to be attacked. They were getting ready to attack Israel. They were getting ready to attack others. You're seeing that right now. And a lot of those...
Are they going to show us any evidence of that ever? I doubt it.
Missiles that are hitting in, those are stationary. Those were aimed there for a long period of time at these other countries. So I think I was right about that. We attacked first. And if we didn't, it could have been, look, we're really decimating them. They're being decimated. And if we didn't, and by the way, we have massive amounts of ammunition. We have the high end. A lot of it was given away stupidly by Biden, very stupidly, for free. And I'm all for Ukraine, but they gave away a lot. As you know, when I give away ammunition, everybody pays for it. The European Union's paying for it. Then they can do what they want with it, but they are giving it, let's say, to Ukraine, and it's okay.
Commercial air travel right now is severely restricted in the Middle East, and thousands of Americans are stranded. Why wasn't there an evacuation plan, and will you send planes to get people out?
Well, because it happened all very quickly. We thought, and I thought maybe more so than most, I could ask Marco, but I thought we were going to have a situation where we were going to be attacked. They were getting ready to attack Israel. They were getting ready to attack others. You're seeing that right now. And a lot of
underscore sent $5. Let's try this again. These people are pure unmitigated psychopaths.
Seriously, the prophetic Christ brain, messianic, apocalyptic mindset is definitely psychotic. It's a major threat to the world. It should be outlawed. This subversive apocalyptic death cult should be illegal.
It should just be treated under the same thing as like violence, like any other violent type of thing, right? Like
inciting violence. Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, like they get preferential treatment from our government. They don't pay taxes, and they are allowed to still engage in the political sphere, right, and things like that, right? And they aren't they're not subject to the government as harshly as they should be, is how I would say, controlling what they're able to do. You shouldn't be allowed to go around preaching that Jesus is going to come back tomorrow and destroy our country. Like that's just, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's a threat of violence. It's an implicit threat of violence.
And those are stationary. Those were aimed there.
Try this again. We got that one. They're working now.
Let's try this again. These people are pure unmitigated psychopaths.
Unmitigated.
For a long period of time at these other countries. So I think I was right about that. We attacked first. And if we didn't, it could have been, look, we're really decimating them. They're being decimated.
Oh, but the BRICS axis, the third world Duganist axis, is all coping that they're about to win. We're going to get to that in a second here once we get through these clips. Everybody's sharing this one. Look, they say, look at Trump's face. All the arrogance gone. No pride left. Looks scared and nervous from inside. He thought Iran would... They're really reading body language into this. He thought Iran would have surrendered by now, and he would be boasting about it everywhere. Instead, the Iranians have put up a fight that no one saw coming. What fight? Man has bitten off more than he can chew, and he knows it. Never underestimate anyone. What is this? Let's see if you guys notice that in this clip. What are they even talking about? Talking about reading shit into something.
Yeah, wait, don't you hear the music?
Yeah, oh, bomb. Oh, Iran's about to destroy you. So, 3.8 million views? Howling Milton says, it would seem Iran has him right where they want him. Such a clown show.
That works for idiots, right? Like that totally works for idiots.
Yeah, we're going to play some of the copes later on. And
I will say, I have seen like, Iran is hitting certain, key U.S. places and bases and Emirate countries or, Persian Gulf countries. And then, so they are hitting something.
Apollo sent $5 on Rumble. Does Sunni Islam have a similar eschatology which paralyzes them in the way the Shias are? What is the difference?
In the article, I kind of go over that. I don't go too much into depth because I didn't want to like get sidetracked. But the way theirs work is that part of what they think is going to happen is that they're basically going to make an alliance, like the Abrahamic Accords. They think that that's part of their steps to this, right? So because they think that that's part of the steps to this, and that can actually happen in the real world, like their supernatural claims are not even as bad as the Shia, right? Basically, because the Shias, the opening salvo has to be basically the angel Gabriel. Because of that, it prevents anything from really popping off. But the Saudis, where they are right now in their end time story, it's basically, and the Abraham Accords will happen essentially. So the Mahdi appears in Mecca, by the way. Like that's part of the story. I go over that in the article. I explain that essentially, like all of the geopolitical or real world things that we're seeing happen, these things can kind of play. You could see a situation where some of these things play out. Basically, the Mahdi appears in Mecca and is revealed, and then an army comes to meet him, and what happens is the sands swallow up, or an earthquake swallows up the enemy army, and that reveals to the world that that's the Mahdi, because they're all like, oh shit, that's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, both Sunni and Shia believe in the Dajjal, the Mahdi, and the return of Jesus. They just believe it's like the Orthodox and the Protestant disagreeing over the Trinity. They disagree over if the Mahdi's already been born or if he's been hiding, like something like that. So insignificant, minor difference, really, and they still believe ultimately all the same thing.
That's a good example, actually, because it's almost like how Christians think that, or even some evangelicals are basically trying to force the end times, and then other Christians think that that's kind of heretical. That's kind of what's going on here. That's what's going at kind of a similar thing at play between Sunni and Shia, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both believe that Jesus is going to return and defeat the Antichrist, which is linked to the Jewish Messiah. So all completely tied in with one another. And sorry to break it to you, but the Christians and Muslims are going to be destroyed if they keep following. They're guaranteed to lose. And this is why the Jews and the rabbis have such confidence that they're going to come out on top, is because their opposition is being led by Christians and Muslims, Esau and Ishmael. Stop.
Yeah, their prophecies are way easier to do. Their prophecies are political. It's a real guy. We talked about this the other day. The Jewish prophecies are basically like a call to action to their people that anybody in any generation can be the Messiah, right? That's kind of how they view it. So it's like they're basically calling their people to have like a political savior arise and do those types of things. So the supernatural requirements, because it's later in the stories, basically like, Yahweh, the real divine intervention is when the nations come against Israel, right? Like that's their story. That's the real divine intervention. That's so late in the story. So everything before that part of the story is essentially aspirational. You know what I mean? Political. It can actually happen. It's real. You know what I mean? Not real in a religious sense, but in a material sense.
So it looks like Trump is rejecting this, like the guy that the Zionists wanted to replace. He says he's a nice guy, but looking for someone from within Iran who is popular. I heard that guy say like he wasn't even going to live there all the time or something. That's
somebody that's
been at all in your mind?
I guess he is. Some people like him, and we haven't been thinking about too much about.
He's talking about this guy. You've seen him with the big nose. He's a relative of the Shah, right? He's from the Shah dynasty. Eldest son, crown prince in exile, that is a Zionist, and I thought that they were going to replace him with, but now Trump is saying no. It's going to be some unknown new 12th imam type of person maybe instead.
About that, it would seem to me that somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've said that. He looks like a very nice person, but it would seem to me that somebody that's there, that's currently popular, if there's such a person. But we have people like that. We have people that were more moderate. These were radical lunatics, and you know what they get? They get nothing. All they do is kill people.
He's
lying too. They took out the opposition party, by the way. Like they took out opposition leaders. So it's just chaos for chaos sake.
I'm wondering what this is about. He says they're going to cut off trade with Spain. Now we're having more trade wars with another European country?
Like Spain has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it, but we don't have to. But they were unfriendly, and so I told him we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. So a lot of good things are going to happen. Thank you very much. And
this is weird. Hold on.
And we're prepared, and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. We want to protect our shipping industry, our cruise industry, cruise ships. We want to protect our airline industry, very important. But everybody has to be vigilant and has to be careful. But be calm. It's really working out.
Oh, this is old.
Good things are going to happen. The consumer is ready. The consumer is so
because Pence is there.
With what we've done.
Oh yeah, 2020. I don't know why I thought this was just the other day in regards to the war.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before. If we have a little high.
You know, they could put in a puppet. They could start shipping their oil to us for a period, and then they could have an uprising. They could put in a new leader. There could be, you know, they could come back and join up with Russia and China after all of this. It's like, it's to think this is just going to be like, you know, mission accomplished in a couple weeks and everything's going to go smooth and it's not going to create a vacuum or more escalation and chaos, I think is more likely the case.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've seen countries around the world, many of whom don't usually work together, working with the United States on Iran, whether it's, you know, Saudi Arabia working with the United States, Israel, Qatari shooting down Iranian aircraft, and we've also seen European countries step up. Why are we seeing, you know, such unity around the world against Iran?
That's a great point. Look, they're just evil. They're it's not the politics; it's their whole philosophy. It's their whole where they come from. It's terrible. Where they killed 35,000, I thought it was 32. Now it turns out it's much more than 35,000 people.
Thunderstorm,
and in some cases using
on Rumble. Team America World Police has Gary undercover to take over Iran. Durka Muhammad Jihad.
Pretty much.
Machine guns with people that have no weapon. They have no weapon, and they're being machine gunned. They're being sniped from buildings. They're hitting the people with snipers right through the eyes. It's just a very evil ideology, and nobody's really seen anything like it. As I said, even the fact that they've attacked all of their neighbors, and the neighbors weren't attacking. They thought they'd maybe sit it out or what. They've hit Qatar, they've hit UAE, they've hit Saudi Arabia.
Weren't they always saying that that's what they were gonna do if they got attacked?
They've hit.
We're also they can't hit American soil. They have to go after bases over there. And now you're acting surprised. They told you that's what would happen if you attacked them.
Oman.
Meanwhile, a lot of our like data centers and things like that are being like negotiated deals over there in those places because it's so cheap to do electricity in the Gulf states. We've been kind of having deals and things like that related to there, and we have people over there living and things, you know. So this is totally throwing a wrench in this whole thing. This is kind of the basis of the Abraham Accords, right?
Yeah, and he's saying that they didn't evacuate everybody too.
Right, yeah.
Helping us negotiate. They got hit. Everybody got hit because they're evil and they're...
Not because you attacked them first. It's because they're evil they're attacked. Dude, that's wild. He's crying that Iran retaliated. Seriously.
It's a bad seed, and somebody had to do it. And it should have been done.
It's a bad seed. That's like directly biblical language.
Because so much death has been.
Oh, the seed of Hagar is a bad seed? Okay, Trump.
Oh, yeah, the bad seed of Hagar. Good one. Ishmael.
Unbelievable death. From Germany, too. Germany's been hit. Everybody's been hit by them. It's an evil ideology. And
someone's probably in his ear telling him this. What I just said.
So many people are saying, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you know,
you.
Trump
see it
goes back to Hagar.
Los Angeles.
Bad seed.
They have thousands of people. I saw it the other day. Pictures of Donald Trump. And I'm looking, I'm on the phone, probably talking to you. And I'm looking, and I see my picture. I say, oh no, it's another, protest. I see and then I started saying, boy, they were very friendly people. And then I saw a woman hugging the picture of me. I said, what's going on? And it turned out to be these are Iranian people that live in the United States.
So many.
Thousands and thousands. You saw the rallies. And in New York, too, they had a big rally by pictures all over the place. The fact is that people are happy what we did.
I think there is some truth to that. A lot of, I know, Iranians outside of Iran especially don't like the mullahs.
Well, a lot of them do see
Islamic
themselves as like
theocracy.
They're kind of Zionists, right? Like they're Iranian, Zionists in a way, and that they view themselves as like a Cyrus type thing. Like, have you seen the meme going around, like, showing, Cyrus helped the Jews return, and now the Jews are going to help the Persians return type of idea. So there is I've seen a lot of Iranians doing that, or that are outside of Iran.
Mm-hmm. Here he's talking about how Iran was destroyed,
They
decimated.
have no Navy, it's been knocked out. They have no Air Force, it's been knocked out. They have no air detection, that's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out. And Just about everything's been knocked out.
But all of the Russia shills are telling you that like Iran's going to win the war and that America is going to run out of supplies and stuff.
They're going to be in for a lot of hurt. These are bad people. These are people they killed. I guess it's 35,000. It's coming out 35,000 over the last 3 weeks. Protesters.
Well, they're back with that line again.
Violently killed.
I don't believe that at all.
These are bad people, and the leader of the pack is gone. And as you know, 49 people were taken out in the first hit, and I guess there was another hit today on the new leadership, and it looks like that was pretty substantial.
Corn Pop
also.
sent
They have no
$5.
Thank you, Corn Pop.
Wouldn't there be some type of evidence?
Yeah.
For example, satellite photos of the pile of bodies.
Right.
Awaited Iran, so they probably used a hyper.
Or any images of bodies. 35,000 people. They provide no proof at all. They were gonna attack us, and they attacked 35,000 people. So stupid. And if they did kill any protesters, it was because they probably believed that they were like foreign agitated mobs trying to do a coup, which clearly Israel and America have been calling for and promoting.
Yeah,
still are.
That's not a thing. Is goof. Yeah, it's obviously happening.
Here, Trump tweeted about. I always say tweeted. True Socialed about the munition stockpiles. He basically says, "Oh, Biden gave them away to Ukraine, but he's building up the military, and we have so many, and we have so many good ones." And sounds a little like coping or maybe bragging. I'm not sure. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Biden gave them away to P.T. Barnum Zelensky of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. Does it sound like he's making excuses or he's bragging here? Or maybe there's haters saying that like, oh, we don't have the capabilities to take them out, and he's like trying to reassure everybody that we will.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, but also I think it's kind of a way of him posturing. I don't know if you've seen the critique that he's pulling, materials out of Asia. A lot of people are saying that, I would say, and I think that this might be his like version of a response of ignoring that, trying to keep the debate in this sphere instead of addressing that, because we are basically moving military equipment and ammunition out of the Asian sphere into the Middle East, obviously, and there's like a whole, I would say, what I would call it, the anti-China just general lobby in America that does not like that, and they're criticizing him for that. A lot of it are Democrats even. So and it's just true. Like that is what's happening. It wouldn't surprise me if we see at some point China start making moves for that.
Liam Jarrett sent $10 on Rumble. We and Israel bombed an all-girls school in session and tried to lie about it. The planes that went down were not friendly fire either. Lies.
Probably not. It's like we clearly haven't given a bunch of our best missiles and weapons to Ukraine because like they haven't been shooting them at Russia. Our most advanced stuff would have if they were shooting our most advanced stuff at Russia, like we would be in full on nuclear war, trying to hit the Kremlin with our missiles. Yeah. Yeah, some of the smaller ones, though, probably. Everybody was sharing this clip of Rubio yesterday saying that he was blaming Israel for why we went into war. So let's see. But then I just saw Captive Dreamer said it's out of context. Let's see what he says.
Just real quick, hold on, before we move on, just real quick, just so you know, Patriot missiles are only defensive. And that's what they're talking about specifically.
Okay.
Specifically, Patriot missiles, they can only be used to take out other missiles and other things from the.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's a surface-to-air missile set. So when they're like arguing about this, that's what they're arguing about essentially.
Right.
Zelensky was not allowed to have unfettered access to Patriot missiles essentially.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I'm like, we didn't give him any of our big missiles because they haven't been fired on Russia, but it's defense missiles, right? Obviously.
And the problem there is that these missiles, Americans need to operate them. They're very advanced and specifically trained radar systems that only America can operate, or it takes like months and months, even maybe years, to train like another foreign military on how to use them. Right, so it basically has to be our operators in some way using a lot of these. They have tried to train Ukraine on some of them, but hasn't always worked out.
was forced to strike because of an impending Israeli action?
No, well, two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
Whoa, that sounds like a cope. That's not out of context. He really did say he knew Israel was going to attack and that Iran would respond and attack them, so they had to take them out first. Otherwise, Israel forced our hand and did force us to go in and do it first. Crazy. Israel would always brag like, oh, we defend ourselves by ourselves and we'll do this with or without you, right? And then they know that if they do it, it's automatically dragging us in. Crazy.
Yeah, imagine being like one of these leftists who believe that like America is or Israel is the vassal state of America too, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine seeing this and thinking that still. These people are totally delusional.
Yeah.
Look at the damage.
Yeah, they always say that. They go that Israel's our aircraft carrier in the Middle East. They're our proxy. They work for us. It's not the CIA controls Mossad, not the other way around. They always say that type of shit. This clearly proves that's not the case.
And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result.
Aware of Israeli intentions that they were going to attack and what that would mean for us, that they would attack all the bases in the Middle East and around some of their allies. So they had to attack first and take out all of their capabilities to do that. Tom Cotton, ultra-Zionist in Congress on Fox News, saying the same thing, I believe, here.
There's a story out there that the president was pushed into this battle by Benjamin Netanyahu. What's the truth?
Well, first, Brian, no one pushes or drags Donald Trump anywhere. He acts in the vital national security interest of the United States. And second, Secretary Rubio addressed this point yesterday after our Gang of Eight briefing. Israel faced an existential risk, and they were prepared to strike Iran alone. If that happened, Iran was very likely to target our troops. That may address the question of why now? Why not 2 weeks ago? Why not 2 months from now? The president, though, did not want to put our troops in harm's way. The more fundamental question, though, is why? Why did we have to carry out this operation against Iran? And as I said, that's because they have a vast missile arsenal that far exceeds our combined missile defenses, and it gets worse every single month.
Oh.
And that is an unacceptable threat to the United States.
Did you hear that? You hear that? They have more missiles than we have defense missiles, Patriot missiles. That's what you meant? Or is Patriot missiles in the Iron Dome? Is that the same thing?
I believe Israel uses Patriot missiles, but I'm not sure. And I think it's part of the overall system. It's operating under the similar technology, though, basically like radar, surface-to-air defenses.
Are Patriot missiles used in the Iron Dome?
The more fundamental question, though, is why?
No.
Do we have to carry out this operation?
Two different air defense systems.
As I said,
yeah, they basically like have their own version of them, though.
Tamir missiles is what they're called.
Yes. Yep. There it is.
Missile arsenal that far exceeds our combined missile defenses, and it gets worse every single month. And that is an unacceptable threat to the United States.
So, Sanders, people have to.
In drones, too. I'm seeing some footage. It looks like drones attacking in Dubai. You see that? Tamir.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. That they have, done some things, but I think that they have the capabilities to probably basically like just send every single missile to Israel, and there's not a whole lot we could do about that. And the reason that they're not is because of what I laid on that article. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to.
David Sling. Yeah, that's another one too, right? It's another defense mechanism. David Sling. I love how everything has a biblical name, and then people want to like downplay the role that their religion has in what's going on in the Middle East.
I don't want to be too schizo. I don't want to sidetrack, but the Operation Fury has a crazy amount of gematria linked to those words like that. Just so you guys know, you could just chat GPT the gematria and all the versions of gematria, Kabbalistically, Jewish tradition, all the Islamic gematria. The Operation Fury is linked to a bunch of the concept of the ending of a cycle and things like that. So
Okay, let's
that's
hear
how
another guy.
they do that kind of shit all the time too. The naming of things.
Threat. Let's also be clear. I've said before, I've said now, there was no imminent threat to the United States of America by the Iranians. There was a threat to Israel. If we equate a threat to Israel as the equivalent of an imminent threat to the United States, then we are in uncharted territory. We have seen the goals for this operation change now, I believe, 4 or 5 times.
Look, here's Israeli TV whines about Rubio giving the game away by confirming the war in Iran is for Israel. What is this? I-24 News.
Meanwhile, Marco Rubio, and possibly the most damaging comment for Israel yesterday, said that the Israelis were planning an attack, and the Americans felt that if they didn't preemptively strike Iran, that the Americans would be hit as a result of Israel's strike on Iran, which puts Israel in a really tough spot right now, and Israel supporters here at home essentially being used as fodder by Israel critics to say that Jerusalem is controlling Washington's foreign policy. So a real messaging issue right now.
Well, they are. I love how he's mad that he told the truth. Operation Roaring Lion, like the lion of the tribe of Judah every time. And that's crazy. That is exactly what happened, though. They told us that Iran was going to do that we had to do a preemptive attack because Iran was going to attack Israel, but the truth is that Israel was about to attack Iran.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the Mahdi is also called the lion. That's his title.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Are lions even in the Middle East? They're in Africa. Are they in the Middle East though?
I think that there's basically good evidence that there was some Babylonian lions and things like that. They all use them, so they were either imported or it's a breed of lion that went extinct. It's one of those.
No longer in the Middle East, but they used to be at one point.
Yeah.
All right. Israel's Benny Gantz says he won't rule out U.S. troops in Iran. Please be in English.
Do you think eventually there will be a need for boots on the ground?
I would not exclude it for those reasons or other, but we'll have to see how it goes forward.
And will that include Israeli boots on the ground, do you think?
I exclude nothing. We've been waiting for 47 years, and we came to a point with every...
Dude, what's with the 47? Donald Trump is the 47th president? 47 years?
Every necessary means should be taken in order to achieve our goals.
What we're seeing from... Do you think eventually there will be a need...
There's some gematria there too. Witkoff says talks about the demands they had for Iran with Kushner.
Well, it was pretty silly, but they thought they could strong arm us. You know, President Trump sent me and Jared there to really determine on his behalf whether they were serious about doing a deal that addressed his objectives, which are elimination of their missile program. Elimination of their advocacy and support for proxies, which is destabilizing the entire Middle East. Elimination of the...
So what, we're going to go there and say you can't have any military because Israel doesn't want you to? And that's supposed to be okay?
Have you guys seen the Bibi files? Apparently Miriam has to do round trips to Israel to testify for Bibi in hearings.
No, I never ended up seeing that. Did you see Bibi files? It was like the documentary about the corruption case with Arnon Milchan and Netanyahu.
I don't think I watched it. No, I don't think I watched it. I heard. I think it's on my list of things.
I had known about that stuff for years though, so it's
yeah.
Sending these two Jews to negotiate.
Navy, so we can have freedom of the seas and not be threatened with the shutdown of the Gulf of Hormuz, and finally, no nuclear enrichment that can get them to weapons grade, which means no nuclear bomb. And we went in there and tried to make a fair deal with them, and it was very, very clear that it was going to be impossible, probably by the end of the second meeting. But we then went back for the third meeting just to give it the last college try. And of course, they thought they wanted us to report positivity. It was not positive, that meeting.
You know, Israel comes at you with deals that are screw jobs that they know you're never going to agree to, and then you decline, and then they go, well, you're the bad one. You won't make a deal. You're not reasonable. That seems to be the game. New York Times reports that J.D. Vance appears to be the one who talked Trump into going for a bigger attack against Iran. Vance appeared to personally lean against military attacks, argued that a limited strike was a mistake. If the U.S. was going to hit Iran, he told the group, it should go big and go fast. That's what he said right when he got the VP spot at the convention. That was the interview. He goes, we can't just do little punches. It has to be, decisive.
Mm-hmm.
We can find that clip probably. Before the meeting, Trump appeared to have been leaning toward a strategy of a smaller strike followed by a bigger one if Iran did not give up its nuclear enrichment. But Vance's arguments seem to resonate, and in the coming days, I love how they're trying to scapegoat Vance for this. More officials move toward the idea that the United States and Israel should jointly take aim not just the Iranian missiles and nuclear programs, but also the leadership itself. CIA produced a series of scenarios. I saw they were using AI and Claude as well to plan these military attacks. That's interesting. And they just switched over to using ChatGPT or OpenAI, right? Instead.
Well, yeah, they had an argument basically with because they didn't want. There's like ethical issues there where they don't want to like integrate these AI systems into automated weapons. So there was like a whole battle and debate about that, and then they ended up doing it. They ended up saying like, okay, we're OpenAI is cool with doing that kind of thing now. So basically, like, there's nobody pushing back really in a strong way against this idea of like integrating AI into our weapon systems and like our autonomous weapons. Like, think about how crazy this is.
Set $5, literal victim blaming. These effing sections.
Victim blaming, projection, cry out in pain as they strike you. It's all the usuals. CIA produced a series of scenarios that might play out if the Ayatollah, the country's supreme leader, were killed in an offensive. They laid out multiple possible outcomes as the numbers of variables made it difficult for the agencies to assess with confidence what might happen. Newsom's taking shots at Trump and Israel. Trying to become VP.
We have to reconcile why our bombs were used or Israeli bombs were used to kill children, young girls at a school, and what the imminent threat was. It has why our bombs were used or Israeli bombs were used to kill children, young girls at a school, and what the imminent threat was. It hasn't been described. We have to reconcile why.
What's up with that? Talk about bad PR, hitting girls at a school. Here's the clip you just found.
The Trump doctrine.
Thank you.
Oops.
This is right when he got the nomination at the convention.
The most
important. Where Trump showed up with the bandage on his ear, right?
Yeah.
The most important part, I think, of the Trump doctrine and foreign policy is you don't commit America's troops unless you really have to. But when you do, you punch and you punch hard. I think that's the way that you respect America's brave men and women who are serving. Now, let me say something about
when you say that. Does that?
He hinted that they're going to have boots on the ground too.
For example,
right there.
President Trump beat the caliphate. It was overwhelming force, and it was done pretty fast.
How President Trump beat the caliphate, beat ISIS, which people said literally couldn't be done, and he did it in a matter of months. But also Iran, Sean. A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard, and that's what he did when he took out Soleimani. By the way, that action, people said that it would lead to broader war. It actually brought peace. It actually checked the Iranians and slowed them down a little bit.
Really? It didn't incite them more? Give me a break. Oh, it slowed them down a little bit. Really? Is that, dude? Okay, here's Netanyahu on Hannity talking about how they're such great allies. Oh, look at that, by the way. Look at what's trending. Revelation. Dude, this prophecy is how they control us. It feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone. With everybody believing these prophecies, really, really playing out this scenario is wild. Like we're watching a Jewish movie, a Jewish theater being produced by these prophecies being manifested by the gullible believers.
Well, you know, when America, the indispensable ally for Israel and the greatest power in the world, and Israel, America's model ally, as the National Security Council just called it, when we work together, amazing things happen. We worked together and amazing things happened. But I have to tell you that it wouldn't happen without the leadership of President Trump, because he just, you know, I met him in Mar-a-Lago. You may remember this because I think you live close by and I saw you at that time, right before his re-election, okay? Or before he was inaugurated the second time. And we met in Mar-a-Lago. And the first thing that Donald Trump said.
John,
thank you, John.
Hate when you are this right. So how effed are we? Will Trump surrender? Or do we get the 90 days of victory then collapse?
No, it's 9 months is what the Zohar says. 9 months. Also, there could be a 3.5 year peace covenant before shit really hits the fan. So it could be they're going to install a puppet in Iran. It's going to join the Abraham Accords. There's going to be the ultimate peace covenant. And then there'll be at the end of Trump's term, 3.5 years, then shit will hit the fan. So 9 months, 3.5 years. If they're following their script to the T, that's what it might look like.
To me.
9-month pregnancy.
You know, we have to prevent Iran from getting nukes. As simple as that. He said that because he saw that as a clear and present danger to the security and well-being of the United States. To have a regime like that, so fanatic, that it just...
Dude, they're like, wait, they had to bomb them because they're trying to create nukes, like you said, for 30 years. Look at this. Director of the IAEA, that's the Nuclear Proliferation Agency, I believe, says... We don't see a structured program to manufacture nuclear weapons in Iran. That's the assessment. And when Obama made the nuclear deal, it included inspections, I'm pretty sure, so that they couldn't, to prove that they're only doing it for energy, not for weapons. That's what the deal was. That's why the Zionists were flipping out and had to get Trump in, like we covered on the stream Sunday night.
Factor. I said it last year, before the June 12-day war, we don't see a structured program to manufacture nuclear weapons. So that is the assessment. I said it last year before.
That's right before the bombing of the nuclear sites last year.
Just defines itself by destroying America, exporting revolution, exporting terrorism, exporting the worst Islamist fanaticism that attacks Arabs, attacks Israelis, attacks Americans, attacks everyone in sight. They just fired now their ballistic sight around in the Middle East, including Cyprus and Europe. To have a regime like that plans to eradicate the United States, have the weapons of mass death, would have been the greatest threat that America would face in the coming decades. And so he said to me right off the bat, I didn't say to him, he said to me, we have to make sure they never get the nukes. And that's what he did. We tried first to take them out in Midnight Hammer and Rising Lion operation, and we took out their missile sites, but then they started again, their missile and nuclear sites. They didn't learn the lesson. He tried to get negotiations. He negotiated with them. They didn't get it. They tried to string him along. So action had to be taken, and we took it.
Yeah, my thing about this is I would understand if Iran was going for nuclear weapons for obvious reasons, but I think that they have a fatwa against nuclear missiles, or nuclear weapons essentially. And I think if you read it, you can come to the conclusion that maybe they're trying to be like politically cynical, but I actually don't think that that's true. I think it's pretty well rooted in their religion, this fatwa against nuclear weapons, like nuclear weapon proliferation. It's because essentially like the Islamic way to wage war is a very central theme in the Quran, I would say. And they're just like taking those concepts and taking those ideas and just like stretching them or, equating them.
They have the Mahdi. They have Mahdi and Jesus. They don't need nuclear weapons. Is that what it was?
They cite that, yeah, they cite those types of arguments, but also like you're not supposed to have indiscriminate killing of populations and things like this. In the Quran, it says it has a bunch of ways you're supposed to treat women captured and how you treat the slaves you take and all these types of ideas. And it says that essentially the idea that like just nuking a population is therefore against the Quran. That's like their main arguments. Like I said, maybe this is cynical. Maybe they don't actually believe this. But,
too much collateral damage.
Imagine from their perspective, they're sitting here, their religion is basically saying, no, you can't use nukes, while the West and Israel just keep saying, oh, you're trying to build nukes constantly. Like I said, they could be doing that, but it's certainly not in their religion to do that. It says they have an official fatwa against nuclear weapons.
Yeah, they say it's haram because it kills indiscriminately. That's what the explanation was.
Mm-hmm.
But they did bomb. Netanyahu was right about that. They did bomb a British airbase in Cyprus.
Both of us. And to destroy as much. Well, you're right. I did have spoken about it for decades. And I try to.
Thank you, Liam.
Liam Jarrett sent $5 on Rumble. In Gematria, 47 corresponds to Bitchel, which means nullification, especially of the 70 nations.
Oh, really? Interesting. That's what 47 means? Send me something more on that. I want to see that. Post about it, maybe. Put together a little post about it with the receipts.
To persuade successive American administrations to take firm action. And President Trump, in his first term, did. He got out of the disastrous Iran deal right off the bat.
I love how they talk about it was so disastrous, but they shut it down before it could even like fully go in effect, right? How long? Obama got the Iran deal right before he was like out of office and Trump got in. They didn't even. Where was the disaster? That just because you didn't like it, you needed a war with Iran, according to hasten the Moshiach more, like the Rebbe told you to do?
Yeah, they can't actually sit with the status quo of Iran not be trying to develop nuclear weapons. They need this narrative that Israel requires this. Crazy religious nut job threat. Yeah, they require this to justify.
They need the Islam threat. They need the Islamic terrorism threat. That's part of their narrative, which is why October 7th, gave them the justification to take Gaza and go to war with so many more of their neighbors.
He did everything he could to prevent them from going into the nuclear program that they seek to build atomic bombs to threaten us and you, and ultimately to attack both of us and to destroy as much as they can, because this is what these people do. They basically are in the business of mass death, and you're right to call them a death cult. I worked with several presidents.
Dude, I love how they're projecting death cult on Muslims, which is sort of true. They do believe in Jewish eschatology as well. But to call them a death cult when you and your Christian Zionist friends are all a death cult. Your Christian Zionist friends believe in a rapture. Talk about death cult. They're Heaven's Gate status death cult, suicide cult.
Yeah, I did a space today with Duvid I was telling you about, and Duvid basically, he was yelling that he's like, they're a death cult, and he's talking about Judaism, because from his point of view, he was pointing out that, part of these stories is that basically Galilee and the other places are just going to get wiped off the map, you know what I mean? So he's basically saying that part of the story in Judaism is to sacrifice their own people, essentially.
Even former prime ministers of Israel say this. Ehud Barak. These ministers and Netanyahu want him to ignite the whole Middle East to accelerate the coming of the Messiah. Not a healthy way to generate healthy strategy for a state like Israel. And this is what we're saying. A more messianic, apocalyptic, Jesus-believing, prophecy-believing Christianity and Islam is not the good strategy to oppose messianic Judaism and Zionism.
Yeah, well, it's competing narratives. What we're watching is we're basically watching how these layered stories interact with each other. And from what I can tell, or from what it seems like the Jews, like the Jewish scribes, like the people in Israel, the descendants of the Jewish scribes who wrote all of this, and they seem to have a better understanding of these things than the people who follow the religions themselves, right? So ultimately, they hold the keys to the script, essentially. They know how these are going to play out.
Right.
I always appreciated the fact that we had, forthright discussions. Often we agreed, but often we didn't. We disagreed. And I appreciated that we kept the alliance going. But I want to tell you something. I'm not a youngster, so I've been around. There's never been a president like Donald J. Trump. His resoluteness, his decisiveness, his clarity of thinking, the way he gets right to the crux of things. It cuts through all the fluff, cuts through the chase, gets down to the main point, and it gets down to the main action that needs to be taken.
Does whatever they want to do.
I think for Israel, and I think for the countries of the free world, let me tell you, I think for the world, we're very lucky to have him as the leader of the free world, and in fact, the leader of the world. He's brought America back to...
The leader of the world, dude. He's the king of the world, is how he's framing him.
Being the leader of the world, and it makes a...
Messianic leader of the world.
Huge difference. And I can tell, I'm talking to...
Crazy.
America's allies in the region, just one by one by one. And I can't quote from these conversations, but I can tell you they all share this, and they all say, thank God that Donald Trump is here. Thank God that you...
Oh, they all say, thank God the prophecies are coming true. Is that what they say, TBV? Really?
Yeah, all your Jewish rabbi friends say, thank God that Trump is the leader of the world and the Prince of Peace and getting Edom into a war with Persia and Russia. Wow.
Together to remove this threat, not only to you, but to us.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, it's a huge threat to you. CNN put together a montage of their incoherent talking points on Iran. Let's see some of this.
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Dude, you didn't start it?
We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
War is hell and always will be.
Strategic strikes are not war.
And we may have casualties. That often
Great. It's definitely war. They're bombing our bases. We're assassinating their leaders, and they're going to say it's not war. Crazy. Dershowitz is very pleased. He talks about how it's symbolic of Purim. Jocelyn, thank you, Jocelyn.
On Rumble.
What's up, Jocelyn?
Abrahamic religions all seem more alike than the highly cultured secular / Zoroastrian Persians I know who are completely opposite.
Yeah, they're not the only ones that have apocalyptic
Rochelle
beliefs.
$5 good news. Melke explained this isn't the real Jew, so.
Of course, yeah. Melke and all the rest of the Khazar, not real Jew, controlled opposition bullshit. Babylonians.
I just wanted to get your personal reaction when you found out that the Ayatollah had been killed.
I was very pleased. I spoke both to President Trump and to Prime Minister Netanyahu about the threat posed by Iran. And I think without disclosing what anybody said to me, I think everybody, civilized world today, should be as pleased with the death of the Ayatollah as they were when other great tyrants, Stalin and Hitler and others, died violent deaths of the kind that they imposed on other people. So I think it's a day for celebration. It's interesting. Tonight is tomorrow night is the Jewish holiday of Purim, where the Jews had to survive a genocidal attempt by the Persian people, and the villain ultimately was killed along with. Of course, that biblical story was repeated in Tehran with the killing of the Ayatollah and, unfortunately, some members of his family as well.
Oh, what a coincidence. They did it on that day, right, guys? Hashem really likes to line things up for them. No, they're basing their actions, following the script of an event that never happened. Purim never happened in Persia. That is a completely fake story. There's no independent attestation or documentation of any of the Purim happening anywhere archaeological, anything in history in Persia. It's a completely made up story.
It is interesting. It does talk about in the Talmud in Yoma 10a. It says, in the future, the kingdom of Rome will fall onto the hands of Persia. And then it says, the sages taught Persia then will fall into the hands of Rome. And then the ending of the argument is that, but there is no contradiction to these things. One statement refers to the coming of the Messiah, and the other refers to after. So in the Talmud, it says that Persia is going to beat up Rome, and then the Messiah comes, and then Rome beats up Persia. That's what they're saying in the Talmud. That's like their final argument in the Talmud about this. Well, not the. It also gets picked up again in Sanhedrin, but. And they're just citing Deuteronomy there. Like, that's all that is.
Okay, now look at some of this cope. Look at some of this Russia network, Christian Muslim alliance, disinfo cope that they're pushing. Okay, unbelievable from Sneeko. Says, Kamani possibly set the trap that will win the war. 86 years old, reportedly with cancer. If he allowed the Epstein Empire to martyr him, Epstein Empire, by the way, again, he proved he does not fear death. His opponents can never say the same. So where Sneeko will say that the Torah was given to the Jews by God, he thinks Torah is a beautiful religion, and he just wants everybody to believe in the God of Abraham. He, instead of blaming prophecy or Jews, he blames Epstein.
_Kang sent $5 on Rumble. Isn't the Christian eschatology belief that Antichrist wins, so don't fight him? What happens when they take the world without appointing some guy as Moshiach?
No, they will claim somebody is a Moshiach. Just their political leader, their king.
Part of the thing about Christianity is, what I would say is it's so, because it began from Midrash, it has this tradition of reinterpreting and re-seeing Revelation differently and under the political lens of every generation. So that's part of it, the built-in tradition of Christianity is to constantly reinterpret what you're seeing in those points or in those terms from Revelation. So the Christian one is a lot more malleable compared to the rigid Shia one.
Yeah, so guys like Sneeko help work to get Trump in with his 60,000 like 1.4 million view tweet that 3 days before the election, he says, vote Trump, our best chance at global peace. So he helped get their guy in. He attacks Iran, and now he's coping and saying, oh, he's Epstein, and he's uniting the Iran, and the axis of resistance is now more than united than ever. Million views, 21,000 likes. I said, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. In our next trick, we're going to have our leader get killed, 40 of the top brass get killed, all your military installations and missile defenses and Navy get bombed, all your underground facilities get bombed, and you got the Jews right where you want them. Just wait. Just wait. Here he is explaining it on a video. And they're all doing this. Ritter saying the same thing. Unbelievable cope
the martyr.
Here.
Right? They all idolize the martyr.
Yeah, he purposely martyred himself. That's why his granddaughter also got killed, his adorable little granddaughter, and all of their top military personnel. Total master. They got the Jews right where they want them, dude. They're about to take the gloves out. Ooh, Israel's in big trouble now.
It goes back to like the way Jesus' story is constructed, right? Like, the ultimate suffering individual is like the highest,
When you lose and you get killed, you really win. Checkmate.
He's saying that the U.S. made a mistake to kill Khomeini because they turned him into a martyr.
It's a mistake to kill your enemies.
He's saying that the U.S. made a mistake to kill Khomeini because they turned him into a martyr. And Khomeini strategically wanted to be killed so that he can unite the Iranian people, which makes sense if you understand that he's saying that he probably had cancer. Also, he was 86 years old. Look at the way that the Shias are uniting right now. Look at how they're gathering together and understanding how evil U.S.-Israel empire is. So if they fell into his trap and assassinated an 86-year-old man, they martyred him, and the belief is that if you're martyred, you make it to the highest rank in heaven. One, he gets eternal paradise, but two, it activates something spiritual. It activates the warrior spirit within so many of the people that understand how evil Israel is. So this is something that Trump would never do. This is
so unbelievable, Cope. It's like they threaten Israel, they chant death to America, they build up their military, they plan their whole life to wage a war against the evil, what do they call us? Satan? What do they call America?
Big Satan.
The Great Satan. Yeah, the Great Satan, the Little Satan, and then dies on the first day. And these guys are like, all part of the plan, man. 4D chess. He Obi-Wan Kenobi'd himself, and now he's going to come back more powerful.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Bold strategy.
What's crazy is he's like, oh, all the Shia are waking up. He's Sunni, from what I understand. He's Sunni, first of all, and second of all, there's 2 billion Muslims, or almost 2 billion Muslims, and only 300 million of them are Shia. It's like 10 to 15% of the overall Muslim population.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they're uniting together. They're gonna defeat. Oh. So only like 10 to 50% of Muslims are, because if you look the other side, the Sunni, they're all in the Abraham Accords or, neutral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, just wait, dude. When the other Shia countries like Bahrain and Iraq, when they team up and unite, it's over for the West, bro. He's with his 72. Yeah, he's with his 72 Nick Fuentes virgins, like Roseanne and Ted Cruz were tweeting. The 72 virgins he gets when he goes to heaven, they're all like little Nick Fuenteses. That's the meme.
This makes a lot of sense. This is a strategy that Netanyahu...
Yo, HT.
$5. Go buy the book, folks. Chapter 4 Midrashic Myth is fire.
Yup.
Adam, your book is amazing so far.
Thank you.
What's your top 3 favorite
HT reads.
Deception?
Top 3 chapters? That's hard to do. They kind of all, you need more than 3, but the first 3 are really good. Chapter 4, Midrashic Myth. By the time you're already at chapter 4, I don't know, on page 50 or whatever it is, you already, like, you people that don't understand Midrash, how crucial it is, you won't understand Christianity and the development of the Jesus myth if you don't understand how Midrash works. And then the next, that's like the first section of the book. The middle section is where I go over the Midrash and show all the scriptures and how they were compiled into the Jesus myth, and it's just like game over. Game over. Anybody that reads the book, you will become an instant biblical scholar expert in Jewish Jewish messianism, I should say. Thank you. 320 pages in and mind blown. There's a lot of info in there, too. It's going to take some time to absorb it all, I'm sure. There we go. It took me a lot of years, that's
Trump
for sure.
will never use because... So, this is something that Trump would never do. This makes a lot of sense. This is a strategy that Netanyahu or Trump will never use because they fear death. That's why they want to be gods on earth. They would never be martyred for their cause because they want to be immortal. Khomeini does not fear the afterlife. That's the difference between Khomeini and Netanyahu. Khomeini does not fear death. Netanyahu knows.
Netanyahu doesn't fear an afterlife. What is he talking about?
Yow. I just looked up Psalm 47. Very revealing. Refers to Goyim being conquered and trumpets. It's short. If you have time.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Psalms that they're quoting. What's that guy's name? The Christian preacher that quoted trumpets and linked it to Trump. Who was that guy? His daughter does the thing now.
Kim Clement. Kim
Yeah,
Clement.
Kim Clement. They're all linking that. And Revelation is like part of Revelation with the trumpets is basically like a reference to that part of Psalms as well. So they have this like trumpet motif across all the Abrahamic eschatology that a lot of times it's Gabriel who blows it. So like I said, just real quick about that article, they could fake that. I could foresee some way that they do this maybe, but Jesus is obviously not going to come back and bow to the Mahdi.
Yeah. Formation in the chat says when they blow you up, you win. Actually, yeah, they did, and they said the same thing when the Palestinian guy got killed by the drone when his arm was chopped off. They're like, "Oh, such a sign of strength. He's so martyred, and like they're going to unite everybody, and it's going to totally mobilize, the Muslim world against Israel." And they're never, they said the same thing about him.
They're Aaron Bushnell maxing.
They said that's funny. They said the same thing about Soleimani too. He just said it a second ago. For God is king of all the earth. God reigns over the Goyim. God is seated on his holy throne. The nobles, the kings, the leaders of the Goyim assemble as the people of the God of Abraham, for the kings of the earth belong to God. He is greatly exalted. Yeah, just like a lot of the rest of the Psalms, all about God conquering the Goyim.
Where he's going. So, if Scott Ritter is correct, and that they fell into his trap. And now
if he's right now, if he's right, he's been wrong about everything else. He told you that Iran was going to flatten Tel Aviv and Israel was, in 2 weeks, Israel was going to be over. In 2 weeks, Russia was going to conquer Ukraine. If he's right now, he's been wrong about everything else. But if he's right now, how are they still doing this?
Dude, if you're starting a sentence with, is Scott Ritter's right, you are just already so fucked up.
And they're going to unite based off of this assassination. Iran's going to be stronger, and I guess they supplement their loss. They have less troops, maybe a weaker military. This can make up for that. The U.S. is demoralized. That's the major advantage that Iran has over Americans, is that Americans overwhelmingly do not support this war.
No, it's just like you and third worlders and Dugan is calling us the Epstein Satanist and demoralization. You do polls on like normal Fox News conservatives or just normal MAGA people. They're not completely all against it. They're celebrating it. They're liking it. Give me a break. You go into the average church in America, they're for bombing Iran, actually. Right?
Yeah, they all think that this is what's going on, in my view, is that so many of our people are they're getting their information from Fox News, they're getting their information from Joe Roganverse, they're getting their information from YouTube and Instagram and basically like social media, slop stuff. And it's like mixing in ancient aliens even, right, with this whole end times prophecy. So we're seeing this play out. And it's like half of our people believe in this stuff, guys. I got some version of this or more.
Yeah. You're the one demoralizing, Sneeko. You're the one saying the Dajjal, the Antichrist, and only Jesus can save us. It's you idiots that are demoralizing. I'm not demoralized because we just mopped up Iran. We just dominated Iran. We just Gog and Magog mogged Iran.
We have hubris, like we have arrogance, but we don't have the people on the side of this war at all. People overwhelmingly hate it. What happens is the troops do not fight the same way when they know it's unpopular. Part of the reason why the Vietnam War was such a disaster. Everybody hated the Vietnam War. And so even though the American military, the world's global empire,
no one in the American
farmers,
military right now gives a fuck that's like doing these bombing missions, so he knows.
They're probably excited, like, oh my God, they're actually going to get to go do something, right? All the training is going to finally get put to use.
Sort of.
And it's drone warfare. It's missile and drone and aircraft carrier and fighter jets. It's not fucking... You think the fighter jet's going to be like, oh, this is for Israel. I'm not really going to take that. Like, give me a break, dude. This is all such pathetic cope. Just all that these Christians and Muslims do is fucking cope, and here we go. Even more of it. It's actually insidious because, like, all these fake AI videos, all of this, oh, Iran's going to win and Israel's almost over and all this shit, it's actually just, like, going to get Iran even more cooked. They're leading them off a cliff. They're giving them false hope and shit.
And, rice farmers in Vietnam and the jungles, they lost because the Vietnamese people, they were more passionate. This goes a long way in a battle with troops.
If we did a land invasion,
actually,
this makes
a lot of sense.
I don't think that the everyday American soldier or support personnel are able to do what he did.
They're not doing a massive... They're not going to do a massive ground invasion. They're going to just keep bombing and then say, hey, you guys, come on, create a democracy, guys. They're going to try to put in a puppet or cause revolution. So here's Ritter. Here's Sneeko. Sneeko regurgitating the Russia propaganda talking points from super Putin shill Scott Ritter. Look at the face when he does this lie, too. It's such con artist charlatan bullshitter here.
Is indicative of the fact that coming of this school is indicative of the fact that we don't have a clear intelligence picture. Now, people say, well, Scott, we were good enough to get Ali Khamenei on the first day. We weren't that good, guys. He was sitting at home. He wanted to be killed. We fell into his trap.
We actually fell into the trap, killing him and all the leaders and all the missile defense and totally dominating, falling into his trap, dude.
Well, you heard him. He said it 3 times. He said he was in his home 3 times. So you're saying that he can't be wrong 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and sitting at home, set the trap with his granddaughter there to get blown up, to really outrage everybody. Sacrificed his daughter for the trap and himself, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Unreal.
Ali Khamenei, a man who probably had cancer, a man who has openly said that his body is failing him, died a martyr's death. And in doing so, he saved the Islamic Republic of Iran because
let's see how this one aged. Saved these are the guys that told you that Trump was going to not go to war with Iran. Why are we still listening to them? Why?
People now have rallied around that cause like they've never done before. That's proof positive the way that the Iranians have exploited our system of war. We thought we were carrying out a decapitation strike with the first 6 missiles, but we guaranteed we lost the war, and the Iranians guaranteed we lost the war too. Because
wow,
turned Ali Khamenei into a martyr.
Guaranteed we lost the war. What kind of delusional cope is this? And the way his face when look at him on with another big Kremlin shill, George Galloway, saying the same shit.
Ali Khamenei was at home in his residence, knowing he was being hunted down by the United States, knowing he was being targeted by death. He was surrounded by fellow shaheeds who also knew that they were going to die, but they also understood that there was a purpose in their death, because by dying, they entered into martyrdom. And the Iranian people are in the streets, but they're not shouting death to Khamenei. They're shouting long live the martyr Khamenei. That's why we lost the war on day one. This was a trap set by the Iranians on day one.
This is the cope you do when you say forever that Israel's almost done and they don't stand a chance against Hezbollah and Iran. This is what the kind of cope you get.
It's almost like he believes that now that their spirit is so ignited in the fire of this story of how their main guy was martyred, that surely is going to summon up their potential to just be able to win in the war because they have such stronger spirit. Like it's a very like magical way of thinking. It's really ridiculous. Like obviously moral, like the morale of troops matters, but this is not the central occurrence. Like this isn't the central way that determines if a war is won or not.
A people of faith. Donald Trump wouldn't even know what a Shia is or what a Twelver is. He doesn't know who Hussein is. He doesn't know who Ali is. He has no clue what the Battle of Karbala is. And yet he fell into a trap.
That's all in my articles.
This is relevant. He assassinated or facilitated the murder of the second most important man in the Shia faith, Ali Khamenei. This is the equivalent of killing the Pope if you're Catholic, killing the Archbishop of Canterbury if you're British, killing the head of the Orthodox Church, Kirill, if you are Russian. And Donald Trump doesn't understand this.
He knows the Russian head of the Orthodox Church.
He actually knows him?
Oh, I mean, he just said, I mean, do you know the head of the Russian Orthodox Church off the top of your head?
No, Patriarch Kirill, right? This guy.
I guess. Yeah, that's you. Just funny that he knows all the names of them, or knows the names of that one.
Yeah.
Was to get the Iranian people in the street. Donald Trump succeeded. But he got the wrong people in the street for the wrong cause. The people of Iran today are rallying in support of the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic is invincible at this moment because you can't kill people who are ready to die for their cause.
Yes, you can.
Of Iran, who are defending the Islamic Republic, are prepared to a man, to a woman, to become martyrs in the cause of their faith. And it is the Islamic Republic.
So they're just going to all kill themselves and then they win.
In case it wasn't clear to you, it is clear to everyone else that the Ayatollah intentionally martyred himself. I do wonder why his family had to be killed too.
Dude.
Predict an ostensible Iranian attack on U.S. soil to justify ground invasion.
This is so stupid, dude. I don't believe this at all. He planned for himself and 40 other top high-level military officials and his granddaughter. Funny how nobody was saying this shit before it happened. They said other things, and now this is ad hoc cope because their predictions didn't come to fruition.
Iran that they are defending.
Yeah, everybody believes it. Yeah, what does this have? Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, Sneeko said it, dude. All the smart people. 4.4 thousand likes here. 21,000 likes for Sneeko. Yeah, a bunch of third world Russian bots believe it. I saw everybody I know is laughing and making fun of how stupid this is and calling them out as Russian propaganda. I even saw a clip of Nick saying that shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Nick was making fun of it last night. It's pretty funny.
If you can find that, we'll play a little bit of that.
All right.
Sure. not just their history, but their faith. Donald Trump lost this war. The first missile.
He lost. That's so funny. McGregor, Russian propagandist Colonel McGregor says the same thing. Iran's going to win. Israel may not survive.
Regime change operation happening here. How are you assessing it, though? How should we...
Look, your Greater Eurasia podcast, Duganist podcast.
$5 on Rumble. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good quote. That's isn't that's Han Solo says that in Star Wars.
Oh, really?
He's saying that to the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
saying
cool.
That to Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Good one, Optics Prime. I'm glad Amalek is here because that would have gone right over my head.
I posted a clip. It's like 4 minutes long, but this rant is so funny. He's like your medical political victory. Oh, we totally owned you on your metaphysical victory.
We'll do it in a second. Okay, so we got some more copes to go through, and then we'll do that one.
I think the first thing we can say is that the Iranians have targeted at least 27 bases, including port facilities in the Middle East, ranging from Incirlik Air Base all the way down to Dubai in the Gulf. So the war has been effectively regionalized.
Burger Kings.
$5 on Rumble. These people saying, oh, Iran is not Iraq, just deny physical reality. They pull Reddit arguments thinking winning some debate means winning over $1 trillion military.
Well, I would agree, though, Iran isn't Iraq. Iran has way more weapons. It's bigger population. I don't disagree with that. And you know what? It's kind of a good point, too. If the logic is Israel was going to attack Iran, so we had to attack first because they're going to respond and hit all of our bases, it seems to me like they hit a lot of the bases anyway. So I guess from that perspective, they didn't neutralize the threat as much as they maybe had hoped for. I don't know. I don't understand.
And the consequences of these actions cannot.
I want to know what's
really
going on with
be...
supersonic missiles. You're always hearing that from the pro-Russia crowd that Iran has supersonic missiles and that those can take things out. And I've even said this, I think, on your show that I think that there's like a good chance that supersonic or hypersonic missiles could, hit an aircraft carrier, things like that, or
well, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Exactly. They should have done it before they got all their 40 top leaders killed.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fully appreciated yet. Everyone knows about the Gulf and what has already happened in the oil markets. Today, the oil markets...
Okay, we're not going to do his whole thing. Here's Mersheimer, too. So all these guys that have been wrong about everything, all the Russia shills, all saying the same thing. Iran's going to win. Iran's going to win.
I came on the show this morning of a situation where, let's say, the United States launches...
Hey, thank you, Brandon.
$20. I've created the world's largest conspiracy mind map and also predicted these things. Go look at my X where you have me blocked. Unblock me on Rumble as well, please. I bought 2 copies of your books and always recommend you to skeptics.
Fill out the apology form, tell me what I blocked you for, and send me an email with the link to your Twitter account so I can unblock you. That's the process. That's the unblocking process. Thanks for buying the books, though, and thanks for the dono.
A few massive attacks over the next week or two. And let's say that the United States eliminates all of the missiles and all of the drones that the Iranians have. This is not going to happen, but let's just assume that happens.
Judge Napolitano, too, who is just over in Russia recently also.
On Rumble. To be fair, the Iranian ground invasion will come as immigrants to Europe and America, and Christians will welcome them.
There could be a refugee crisis from Iran, but not necessarily. I'm pretty sure Iranians want to stay in Iran, and if it can be stabilized, best case scenario, then they might stay there.
And then we declare victory. Where does that leave us? The regime is still intact, and they'll just rebuild the missiles. They'll rebuild the nuclear enrichment capability. They'll rebuild their drone capability. So how do we win the war? Iran is not going away. And I don't think this regime is going away. But even if this regime goes away, the regime that's going to replace it is not going to be a friendly regime. And furthermore, that regime, I would bet, will be tempted to develop nuclear weapons in ways that the regime that was dominated by Ayatollah Khamenei
was not interested in developing nuclear weapons. We just assassinated the Iranian leader who was really the main block on Iran going nuclear. And now that he's gone, and given what's happening in this war, I think the incentives and the potential for Iran to develop nuclear weapons are much greater. So I think this is going to be an even bigger problem moving forward than it is now.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like I said, 9 months, one victory for us, 9 months, and then maybe some strike back. Russia shares a nuke, some weapon with them. They're able to hit us with it, or hit Israel, something like that. Isn't out of the realm of possibility. At least he's not coping, saying they actually won.
The other side.
Let's see one more from.
Well, China and Russia are.
What about China's ability to impact outcomes in the Straits of Hormuz with what is now the government of Iran?
Rabbis give conflicting prophecies that we destroy each other. Also, some say Edom falls to Persia. Others say Persia falls to Edom.
And then 50% of their oil on the other side waiting to get through.
Well, China and Russia are sitting on the sidelines monitoring everything. They're in close touch with the government. They're providing satellite intelligence, which accounts for some of the tremendous successes, particularly in Israel and on our U.S. bases. All of our bases have been destroyed. Our harbor installations are destroyed. We're actually having to fall back on India and Indian ports, which are less than ideal. That's what the Navy says. And I think
one thing, losing the moral high ground is going to be used against us in the near future. That we're the evil, satanic Epstein ones. We attacked first. We killed the leader. We started this. We're to blame. That's how it's going to be used also.
Iran, much to our disappointment, is faring very, very well. The question is, how long can we keep this up? I think logistics is the vulnerable part of this entire operation. Remember, you got to go back and reload. You've got to fly things in. You've got to sail in. Iran is a continental power, 93 million people, the size of Western Europe. Both China and Russia are continental powers. They don't have supply chain problems. Their manufacturing capabilities are intact. Right now, the missile cities that underlie all of Iran's provinces are untouched, and they have an inexhaustible supply of missiles. I think this is going to go on for some time, and the question is, when does Israel step up and say they've had enough? We went through that before during the
nuke.
When do they say this is too much?
If they do take a beating, what's going to stop them from nuking Iran if we won't do it?
LOL.
I'm joking. There is like a meme apology form, but you don't really have to do an apology form. You can just. I do want to know though. I'm curious what you did for me to ban you. Did you call me Jewish? What was it?
When do they say, if this doesn't stop, we use a nuclear weapon? That's what I would be concerned about. And that's where President Trump, who really doesn't appear to be in charge, Mr. Netanyahu does, has got to be prepared to step in and say, no, there will be no use of nuclear weapons. That's what I worry about.
There's
so many fake videos of.
Yeah, we're going to get to those in a second. We're going to get to all the fake videos.
Right now.
They're claiming
some hits from in the Gulf states and things like that. I'm trying to find some of that footage.
Yeah.
And you have to sift through so much fake stuff. It's crazy. Like Twitter is basically not usable for this.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that they announced the head of Twitter, not Elon, but the other guy that's actually doing shit. He announced that if you share a fake war footage, that you'll lose monetization for a certain amount of time. But here, they're claiming, and I think this is true, there's a media blackout in Israel. They're not allowing any. If you post any clips of them being bombed, you go to jail.
The Messianic events, at least in the beginning.
They say both. They say both. So both might happen. Or no matter what happens, they'll claim it got fulfilled. Let's see this narrative here from Bannon.
There's footage out there. People have to be, particularly now, people are being inundated with artificial intelligence, et cetera. So it takes a while to go through it. It looks like Tel Aviv was pounded overnight. And again, today, is some of that artificial intelligence? Are you confident talking to your sources? Because I've talked to people too, said they are getting pounded. But I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead.
we're talking to some of the same people in some cases too. But I'm not even talking about the videos that I'm seeing on Twitter. I'm talking about people that I know in the region or who are part of the year in the region and have a lot of ties. That is not being reported officially, obviously, because the Israelis won't let that out. But there are people who are living in Tel Aviv who are sharing things that they probably shouldn't be. About what's going on in the streets and whatnot, and it is very brutal. And I don't think Netanyahu even believed it would be this bad, but here we are.
We do know too from the 12-day war. I mean, President Trump. This was one of the reasons for the big move beforehand was the that Tel Aviv was hit and hit very hard in those last couple of days before they brought the 12-day war.
Here, we'll get to that in a second. Actually, this is a funny clip of Lucas Gage going off about all the copes about how Israel's gonna lose
and get blown to pieces and say we're winning. The resistance. LOL. The Jews are gonna lose. Are they? Are they really gonna?
Brandon Gallimore sent $5.
Thank you, Brandon.
To call you Jewish. I just told you that your last name is also.
There we go.
You talked with me on Gnostic's channel about 2 years ago for about 45 minutes or so.
Oh.
I don't hate you. I have a theory about all of it. You are a good force for truth.
Oh, you mean I talked to you for 45 minutes in good faith and then you try to imply that I'm Jewish? Because 5% of Greens are Ashkenazi when I'm zero Ashkenazi and I've been exposing that for years? Sounds pretty retarded, dude. But you did pay, so I will unblock you. Just DM me or email me, nomorenews@protonmail.com, the link to your account, and I will unblock.
Are they really going to lose? I bet you they're going to win. How about that? How about that for you, Goyim? I bet they're going to fucking win. They've been winning this whole goddamn time while you're dancing to stupid-ass AI music that I made. See how fucking honest I am? It's so brutally goddamn honest. Nobody likes me anymore.
Dancing, thinking you're going to win. And he's talking about Myron, who dressed up like a Iranian and started dancing when they're getting
people rose up.
All their leaders bombed. I played a clip the other day, I think, of Ritter here on with Myron. Funny how the Russian network guys are always popping up on each other's shows all the time. Let's see what this one was about real quick.
And the Iranian government crushed them. And now the Iranian government's in total control. Don't believe any of the videos you see on social media. There's been a media blackout in Iran for at least 3 days. All the stuff you see posted is fake. The Iranian government has regained control of the country. And the window of
this was before the attack.
We have both Israel, because here's the thing. The scheme would have worked if you could have toppled the Iranian government up front.
Look, this guy is an absolute Russian cuck shill. He just says, oh, it would have worked if you toppled their government. You mean like we just took out all their leadership? And now he's saying, oh, actually, that's the... See what I'm saying? Just days ago, he said that would be a W if we took out all their leadership. Now he's saying that means we guaranteed to lose. He's a fucking fraud. Why is everybody taking this guy seriously? It's not everybody. Actually, everybody knows he's a joke and a convicted trying to hook up with 15-year-olds online. It's only the Russia shills all still give him a boost.
And they wouldn't launch missiles and all that. You can't topple the Iranian government right now. So if we attack Iran, two things are going to happen. The Iranians will crush Israel, destroy it, and they will destroy American bases in the region, potentially causing tens of thousands of American casualties.
Yeah, they're going to crush Israel. That's why last year when Israel attacked Iran, they responded and didn't get anything done. Didn't do any crushing. Just took it like bitches, basically. Right, Amalek? Can you believe this stuff? How do they get every little detail so off, so terribly wrong?
Just Ritter Midrash, or you know what I mean? Like he's just constantly
Ritter Pilpul.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's constantly doing this.
So this is before the attack. This is what he was just saying before the attack and getting it all wrong.
We can do to stop it. The Iranians proved that the Iron Dome air defense system doesn't work, and the Americans can't defend their bases either. So Israel and regional leaders are telling Trump, don't attack. I mean, and hopefully his intelligence community is telling him the same thing. Because if we do attack, we're not going to win. I mean, yeah, we'll blow things up in Iran, but the price we're going to pay is beyond belief. Yeah, just so you know, when you
sent $5 on Rumble. Have you ever asked Dawson why he vouches for Ritter?
No.
Spartan
But I've
sent $10 on
I've expressed my
very surprised that Iran is attacking their
disgust
Muslim
with
neighbors.
Ritter.
Iranian officials are very stupid people.
research, right?
Yeah, not helping their cause.
Hold on, really quick. I just want to address that because that's something I forgot to say. This whole like take or my whole idea that about Iranian like eschatology being they're in a state of prophecy paralysis. It came from me knowing Iranian secularists who had fled the revolution and essentially like they were professors. And when I was growing up, I played soccer with their kids. So I ate dinner at their house and I was constantly talking about politics with this guy. And he was like a really intelligent professor. And this was his take that he explained to me. And then later on, I studied like from a comparative religions perspective, the Shia end time stuff in the same way we study these things, the Christians and the Judaism stuff. And that's kind of how I came to this take. So I've had this understanding of Iran since I was like 15 or 16 years old. And I was never able to like put it into words and explain it in the way, that I have now.
Or we came on here, there was a breaking news that Israel and Saudi Arabia were calling Donald Trump and asking him not to attack Iran right now. Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't.
So much for that, right? What bullshit. Israel and Saudi said don't attack Iran. They told Trump not to. How did that age, guys?
Right now, Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't
know. Wrong.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. So, all right. No, man, obviously things can always change, guys. Look, analysis is always.
When did Scott go off the deep end?
Around at that moment. Obviously that's a big piece of news right there. So, there can always still be an attack. All you can do is predict, but
yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I'm giving you this great assessment and all that, and we'll click off and I'll open up my X account. It's like America bombs Iran. Well you did say
that's literally what happened. That just happened. And then now he doubled down and goes, they fell into the trap. That's how much I played this a few days ago too on the stream before the attack. Dude, we need to do a side-by-side with these two clips of him days ago saying that shit and then getting it totally wrong and then 4D chessing it that, they actually fell in their trap and now they're all killed. They're really winning. Unbelievable. Can you believe that shit?
You did say that there's a chance that we can hit their nuclear facilities again, right? So that is
Trump needs to make a statement. I think Trump, he's gotten himself leaning way far out there. And there has to be a face-saving way out of this. And it may be with a limited strike against another empty target. I don't know.
Incredible, dude. That's incredible. I can't believe.
He'll say anything he needs to make it so it fits.
Yeah. That is crazy, dude. I cannot believe that shit. I love it. Okay, here's some of the fake news. This is the Dugan's following this account. Daily Iran News. Look, they say, we're back, Tel Aviv. Yeah, well, where is this? What's with the AI image? It's like you're winning the war with Israel in your head with AI images. What does that do? Is that gonna hype everybody up? Is that gonna inspire and encourage? Lift the morale? Or is it gonna give people false hope and get them drunk on copium?
Well, it's certainly distracting from what the source of it is, which is the Messianic apocalypse, right? Like this, that's the source of what's driving all of this.
Okay, here's another one too. Suleiman shared major hits in Israel. Is this real? 2.2 million views, 12,000 likes. Look at this. Clearly it's fake. Right over the Dome of the Rock like this.
Oh my God, here they come. That's right.
You could tell by the voice it's AI. Oh my God, here they come.
Oh my God, here they come. That's right in the center. Another one, and another.
The Temple Mount.
The whole wave of them. The whole skyline's lit up. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love how it's in English, right?
Yeah, Captain Dreamer just tweeted out another one from that junior account. You know what I'm talking about?
Give it to me. Share it to me. We're doing all those right now. So here's another one. Look, 76,000 likes, 22 million views from some Orthodox Christian third world Duganist account, Putin Chill account. Look, totally fucking fake. 76,000 likes.
Yeah, that's the same video.
Tiny's Highest Cook sent $5. I want to see a debate between Amalek and Dawson. That would be epic. Let's make
Me and Dawson have argued over Putin stuff for like 8 years probably. Look at this. Total fake video. I'm at a point now at every video I see I assume is fake. Because they're sharing so much fake shit.
There is good stuff on Telegram. It's kind of hard to go through it. I'll send you some of that stuff, so maybe you can go on it tomorrow or something, because it's going to take me a while to kind of compile them. But there are good clips I've seen on Telegram of certain places in Tel Aviv getting hit, and other places.
The leaders of these countries are working together. There are pictures of the next leader of Iran out kissing the Western Wall with a yarmulke on. I think this has been happening for all of the Gog and Magog wars / World War I - World War II - World War III.
We played the clip at the beginning of the stream. Trump says he doesn't think that guy's going to be installed into power. It doesn't mean it's not true, but still. I love this too, these liars. The footage has been verified as genuine. Yeah, typical Christian ortho bro lies. Such an obviously fake video. Everybody's calling it out. Suleiman shared the same one too. 40,000 likes, 2.6 million views. These slop accounts. Same one. Look at this. Wait. Where is it? So Nikita, this is the guy, the top engineer at Twitter. He says, today we are revising our creator revenue sharing policies to maintain authenticity of content on timeline and prevent manipulation of the program. During times of war, it is critical that people have access to authentic information. With AI, it is trivial to create content that can mislead people. Starting now, anybody who posts AI-generated videos of an armed conflict without adding a disclosure that it was made with AI will be suspended from creator revenue sharing for 90 days. Good. This will be flagged to us by any post with community notes content. But then also, this is giving them the justification to take down real stuff also. So now they have the excuse to take down and cover shit up that's real because of all this fake shit.
Well, they just banned News Baron. I don't know if you know that account, but they just banned News Baron.
No, really?
Yeah. Yep, I just saw that just now. We were doing this.
Here's Nick making fun of Ritter and the Copers.
Settle for our leader, one.
Hold on.
You can't say Gary is part of the city.
He's going to be with 72 virgins. If Sneeko says that the Ayatollah is going to be at the highest level of heaven, he's going to be with 72 virgins. That was kind of funny. I'm not even going to lie. Roseanne Barr said, POV, you're a dead Iranian. You have your 72 virgins, and it's me. It's kind of funny, okay? That's a little bit funny.
I can't find the meme.
When they say, dude.
Here's the meme. This isn't the one they shared. This is a different one, but the 72 virgins, they're all Nick Fuentes in heaven for the Muslims.
It's funny that he's laughing at this.
Yeah.
How does anyone still take Scott Ritter seriously? Scott Ritter says,
thank you.
The Ayatollah won. He wanted to die, and when we killed him, he trapped us. Okay, that's insane. Okay, that's just totally... Do you even believe that? Seriously? When you kill your enemies, they win. That's really... That's just next level. So what happened to... A few days ago, they were saying if we go to war with Iran, they're going to blow up an aircraft carrier with a hypersonic missile. I guess they'll settle for their leader being assassinated instead. You know? It's like 2 weeks ago, Iran was posting hype videos. We're going to drop a hypersonic missile on an aircraft carrier, and we're going to rain missiles on all these bases. There's going to be hell to pay. But if we can't do that, I guess we'll settle for our leader being killed instead. That's a real super weapon. Do we have a nuclear bomb? No. Are we hitting any of your strategic assets? No. But our secret weapon, you're going to be able to assassinate our leader. And then the gloves are coming off. It's like, okay, so true promise, huh? That's sort of ironic. true promise. It's like, what, promise wasn't enough? No, this is a real promise. We really mean it.
I'm seeing another lie. Christina Iverson shared a post from this Iran account. Oh, hold on. Thank you, Brandon.
2000 is equivalent to the year 2240 according to mainstream religion. The people pulling the strings are talking about how the 210 years in the desert/exile don't count, so if you subtract that from 2240, the year is 2030.
Yeah.
Fake apocalypse incoming.
Yeah,
that
yep.
is. Yep, that's the math that they mapped out. That's a good observation.
Yeah, we've covered that a lot over the years. Iranian drone strikes U.S. consulate in Dubai.
Shit.
Shit.
Move. Nikal.
This one's real. You can tell this is real.
Another drone.
Another drone.
Well, leave from there.
Consulate in Dubai.
Okay, sure you do. I just think that's fun. They're all buying into that. Yeah, no. Just like with Yahya Sinwar. When Yahya Sinwar is assassinated, everyone will raise up their sticks. Did that happen? I don't think so. The people of the world will rally, raise up your sticks. It didn't happen, bro. Everyone forgot immediately. And then Hamas made a deal. Hamas capitulated. They're giving up their weapons as we speak. They gave up half their territory, and nobody did anything, okay? On the contrary, literally nobody did anything. No, it'll galvanize everybody. It's a metapolitical victory. The look on Israel's face when they realize that we won all the metapolitical victories is in like 200 years, we will all be in the gulags or dead. It will be like an Israel-controlled AI, antichrist, global government. You'll be sitting there with a shock collar, and you'll be saying, man, Israel's so fucked. I can't.
Man, I shouldn't know. Meanwhile, he thinks that Jesus is going to come save him from the Antichrist. So it's like, you're kind of doing the same. You're trusting the same Jesus plan also.
They're going
see from a lot of Catholics, they're doing this thing where they're saying like, evangelicals are evil, but maybe they're in this sick way kind of right. You know what I mean? So while they don't support it, they, and they're obviously trying to fight against it in their own way, with Nick and things like that. But it is this kind of trap to play into the whole narrative, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Any day, Emperor Netanyahu V is going to fall. They have no idea what's coming.
This is so
They
funny.
just have no idea. Once they kill the 6 millionth goy, man, they have signed their death certificate for this regime. It's finished. I don't know, man. I don't think so.
As interceptor munitions dwindle, if Iran expects water desalination plants in the Gulf, the petrodollar is done for.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, sure thing. Any day now. Oh, yeah, if they attack the super secret, if they attack the MacGuffin, you guys are crazy. Here's how Iran can still win. It's always these like 5-dimensional chess things from like some Wall Street person. Well, if they hit the desalination plants, then it's over for the petrodollar. Yeah, okay, sure. Sure thing. Once they hit the server rooms that are hiding the Epstein files and Hunter's laptop, okay, yeah. There's always some theory that no one's ever heard of, right? Yeah.
Okay. I think I want to skip these guys right now. One more of Nick now. Everybody was like, Adam tagging me. Did you see this?
By another country for it's so shameful, so disgusting. It's a war of choice. Iran does not threaten us. Got no business there. This was a decision. And it was a decision made by another country for another country's benefit. They will get the glory. We will pay the price. We decrease, they increase. They are delighted to consign the American empire to destruction while they look forward to a golden age, while they look forward to a century of empire and domination. Maybe we can't stop it, but I'm not going along with it. Maybe it's biblical. Maybe it's prophetic. I'm not going along with it. I'm never worshiping the God of Israel. I'm never worshiping the...
Wait a second. You're never worshiping the God of Israel? Who do you think Jesus is, dude? Who do you think the God of the Bible is? What do you mean you're not worshiping the God of Israel?
Worshiping the God of Israel. I'm never worshiping the Moshiach who they thinks is coming next.
No, you're going to worship the other Moshiach. The one the other Jews thought was Moshiach. Okay, bro. Real defiant here. It's like that other blonde Catholic woman. She's like, I will die before I worship Israel. It's like, you worship the God of Israel still.
Christ is my...
She called herself a spiritual Semite today online, too.
I can't handle her. Between her and Dugan all day just has me seething, all the cortisol spiking all day long.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, if you don't want to worship the God of Israel, don't be a Christian. You don't want to believe in Moshiach prophecies, can't be a Christian. And if you reject the God of Israel, you're basically a pagan, bro. That's pagan. All right? We was Vikings, like you said.
They thinks is coming next. Christ is my Lord and Savior. He is my God. America is my country. I may not be able to stop this agenda, but I sure as hell am not going along with it. I'm not fucking voting for it. That I will not do. And that's it. But we're going to move on.
It's funny because in the prophecies for the evangelical Christians, it's not just Donnie that thinks this. It's a lot of the evangelical Christians have some version where they believe essentially in the kind of ideology that Nick's talking about, trying to like rebel against what's happening. So it's interesting because it's like feeding into even the evangelicals, if that makes sense. Like the people that TPUSA is fueled by, they believe in a sort of Gnostic and sometimes even Catholic version of Christianity, trying to rebel against Christ's Christ's mission, which is to those people, restoring the Jewish people to the land, kind of thing. So it's interesting how those two things play off each other.
Yeah, on the fake shit, here's the other one. So Kim Iverson shared some slop Iranian account that had a bunch of pictures of SpaceX launches, and she was the post was like, Iran hasn't even released their super secret advanced missiles yet, like they're coming, and it was a bunch of pictures of SpaceX, and she shared it and fell for it, of course. I also seen one where it's this AI image of all these big trucks with huge missiles on them all in a row, like they're driving somewhere. Another fake AI video. Dude, what good is it to win a fake hoax AI war? I don't get it. It's like they're setting them up for destruction, giving them false hope and false confidence. Okay, this is where I wanted to get to. Professor Zhang.
People sharing it too, by the way. I see people that follow me sharing some of these like obviously fake videos, and like, you guys just need to, I get it. You're like at work, like, or wherever you're doing, and you just see it on your feed and you just retweet it. But like, this stuff is fake, obviously. I don't know.
Ha 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 ha! Look what I just found. E. Michael Jones, who I've been exposing as a Russia shill and a Duganist for years, says Dugan is right. This was today. Mask off Dugan moment for E. Michael. Hey, Adam, you're such a schizo. What do you keep? There's no Dugan influence. These Catholic anti-Semites.
Regarding what will happen to America. I think they are going to hit our energy grid and people will starve to death or die of thirst very quickly.
Yes, dude, this guy.
That's not impossible. There could be a sleeper cell. They've sure been signaling that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
look
the
at this.
they use there.
The last stand against Baal. And that's the stupid bullshit that E. Michael Jones just gets to say Dugan was right in all these different languages. 46 likes. Good. I hope everybody. I'm going to say Dugan. Oops, hold on. Dugan is a subversive. No, not traitor. Fool. I'm going to say. I'm surprised E. Michael Jones hasn't blocked me yet, because I'm always talking shit. I'm always calling him out. But, dude, Baal, no, it's Judeo-Christian Yahwehists that are running our country. There's no Baal worshipers. Enough of this stupid scapegoating misdirection bullshit. There's no Baal bank account. There's no secret Baal worship. They worship Yahweh, and you worship Yahweh, you dumb idiot. That's so funny. Such a mask off for E. Michael Jones. who says Trump's been put into power to destroy America. Remember when he said that? And he goes, "Oh, I do believe you're the chosen people. I do. You need to follow the Torah more. If you follow the Torah, everything would be fine, right?" Got to go back to the farther headline. That's where. And Dugan's sharing this guy now. Remember Professor Zhang? I covered him on a stream a few months ago. He's now being boosted everywhere. They're crediting him for predicting Trump would get elected and bomb Iran, things that I've been saying since Trump's first term. And when he lost in 2020, I said he'd be back. Here's Duganist, controlled op, Christian controlled op, E. Michael Jones.
Abandoning Donald Trump. Is abandoning Donald Trump. Don't these people know that Donald Trump is the leader of the free world? The meaning of Christmas is God has not abandoned the human race. And so 300 years later, the Greeks didn't know about this, but there's this little baby born in Bethlehem. Jesus Christ is the Logos incarnate. As I said before, I think that God has chosen Donald Trump to bring about the failure of the American empire. All we can do is pray that there's a peaceful transition and that somebody doesn't set off a nuclear bomb.
See? Here's Dugan sharing Jeffrey Sachs, too. He's a part of this Russian Judge Napolitano. It's funny how the knives came out from all the Russia shills, too, once they go full mask off with all of this shit. Professor Zhang, he's promoting Professor Zhang now. I pinned immediately as a Russian op pops up out of nowhere, explodes on the social medias, gets on all the big platforms.
Kang sent $5 on Rumble. Does Amalek believe Muslims will actually proclaim a Mahdi, Jews proclaim a Moshiach? Or will it be an endless prophecy deception for 200 more years?
Well, they can't have a Mahdi until there's a Moshiach. So they all need a Moshiach to happen, and then there's no Mahdi coming. Or if they do claim someone, he'll end up, he's going to end up losing. And it's like, oops, prophecies unfulfilled.
Yeah, part of the nature of the Mahdi in his first, like what I would say is the first part of his narrative is that he's like appearing in Mecca and he leads a small band of people, and then he has this huge battle outside, like in the desert, where the enemy army gets swallowed by the earth or gets crushed by God, and that reveals that's the Mahdi, right? And that is never going to happen. Like that right there, that explanation, like that supernatural event is never going to occur. So yeah, it's just going to keep going. This is kind of why Islam isn't a great weapon or tool against Judaism, is what I would say.
So this is the one that Dugan retweeted, Professor Zhang, who they're crediting on Breaking Points. They had him on, and they're like, "Oh, you're the prophet that predicted Trump would win and bomb Iran," like I've been saying since when my YouTube channel gets banned, and then he creates his channel after mine's banned and explodes to 1 million followers, saying all the normal conspiracy crap. And like me and Amalek have been talking about this guy, he will cover a lot of true things. Do the analogy you did with the sprinkles. Can you give us that real quick?
Yeah. He's like basically baking a cake where like all of the cake is true. Like 90% of the cake is true. The batter is true. The icing, even the analysis.
Sent $5.
Hold on, I'll skip it. Go ahead, keep going.
Even the analysis that he does is a lot of times true, like the icing, you could say. But then what he does is he takes the very last part and he puts on like fake shit sprinkles is basically what's going on. And
like Illuminati. He says it's Illuminati, Sabbatean Frankist, secret societies, and then Gnostic Jesus is the solution.
Well, it's at the very end of the whole truth cake, you could say, where at the very end, where he puts the sprinkles on, that it's redirecting who the perpetrators are. So he's getting all of the analysis right, all of the pieces right. The whole thing is correct. And at the very end, he's coming in and he's redirecting it away. And he's saying it's the Freemasons, it's the Illuminati, it's the Frankists.
It's the Khazarians. He's doing the Khazar. Yeah. So he's right. He's like, they're following an apocalyptic script and they want to have third temple and Messiah as an antichrist and all. He gets that right. But then at the very end, turd in the punch bowl. Okay, this is his. I guess he's taking a break. This is his return, his dramatic return, and he's also saying Iran's going to win and America's going to lose. So the Russian propaganda line being promoted by Dugan. I first pinned him. He was on with Jackson Hinkle, and I saw all the accounts promoting his Pax Judaica, which, by the way, is the Dugan rhetoric. Pax Judaica.
But people have to understand this is all okay. This is like the Russian version of Zionism. Is to misdirect away from like what Zionism actually is, and to essentially like make the opposition to Zionism unable to identify like who or what motivates Jews. That's what Russian Zionism operations look like.
Yeah. He's also saying kooky shit like evolution is a satanic conspiracy and they're opening up portals to interdimensional demons at CERN and a whole bunch of kooky kosher, satanic. He goes, they do satanic rituals.
Posts. These are like
right.
4chan posts from like in 2016. Like that's what this is.
Yeah.
I hope everyone had a nice break and welcome back to the end of the world. I hope.
So that's his return, his new video back, which I'm going to have to watch apparently. So this is him on Breaking Points, how they introduce him. Watch
We've
this.
got yet another heavy hitter guest and first-time guest on the show, Professor Zhang. He is the star of the popular YouTube channel Predictive History. He uses game theory to analyze past, current, and to predict future geopolitical events. And he joins us now. Professor, great to have you.
Good to see you, sir. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So, for people who aren't familiar with your work, I wanted to show folks that back in 2024, you made 3 big predictions.
Oh, you mean like right before Trump got elected? I was saying this shit in 2020 that Trump's going to be back for a resurrection, second coming. Go watch my videos with Donnie. Go back, watch any of my old videos or interviews. I've been saying Trump and Kushner are going to be back for Abraham Accord peace deals, Gog and Magog war, anti-Semitism rise and crackdown. Everything that we've been seeing exactly. I even called the assassination attempt, the deadly head wound, that Trump would go visit the Rebbe's grave. Now I predicted the 28th attack.
Did you look at See-Through-It-All's predictions? What are your takes on it?
I didn't see that. No, I'll have to look for that. Predictions, okay.
Elmore sent $5. Please
yes.
read my last paid message.
I will.
Important to the story of what is going on. Trump is the Messiah Ben Joseph, which I learned from you. He is leading Israel out of exile and will assist with the destruction of Babylon.
I would say that's a little unclear that he's certainly that. It's more like following all these general archetypal roles, I would explain it loosely. Here's the one I skipped.
Bergallamore sent $5. Trump was initiated into the Abrahamic priesthood during his fake assassination attempt. Google tries to hide the fact that his right shoe came off. ChatGPT denies it too. I have the saved pics/articles. He got blood on his right ear, hand and foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we covered all that.
We pointed that out when it happened. Yeah,
yeah.
When it happened,
I was the first to find the rabbi clips, I believe, saying that shit. It was a real viral rabbi clip. Yeah, like the slave is marked with the cut on the right ear.
$5 on Rumble. Did Amalek Sidun 2 talking about Mahdi by name?
Yeah, they even use the same word.
Mechanism for Muslims like the second coming for Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It functions in the same way. It's just because the narrative is different. It's just slightly different in how it interacts. In the way that Christians are like waiting for Jesus, and the way that Muslims are waiting for Mahdi, it is very similar. It's like a very similar kind of concept. It's just like slightly different narratives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
1.
Look who they had on right before too, Jeffrey Sachs.
Well,
two Russian agents. You watch Breaking Points all the time. Are they a Russian op too?
I think a big part of her is that like Russiagate broke her. Like the way the Russiagate thing came about, and the way that was like inconclusive and things like that. 10/7, COVID, and Russiagate all together has totally like broken her ability to like discern reality at this point. So that's my take on her.
That Trump would win. 2.
She's done ball
that
bank
he would
account
start a war
stuff
with
too,
Iran.
so you know.
Oh, really?
3, that the
Which is
US
crazy, right?
would lose that war. Let's take a listen to that.
In this class this semester, I'm making 3 big predictions, right? First is that Trump will win in November. Second is that the United States will go to war against Iran. And the third big prediction is that the United States will lose this war, which will forever change the global order.
So obviously that last one is...
So what, we fall and the multipolar world rises and Edom in the West falls? That's, dude, of course he's being boosted as the prophet pushing this line. And look, I told you guys, this is February 16th. This is the Russia Propaganda Network. Dugan is boosting it, and Hinkle was just in studio with Sneeko the other day. Hinkle also promotes Jang. All these guys are connected, pushing these. See, look, Dugan sharing Sneeko and this guy talking about the Sabbatean Frankist.
Dinsdale
And Khazarian disinfo.
Be friendly to the Russian shills. Russia
No.
is one issue among many. You have a book to plug. Get
We're
on
not-
those shows and debate them on the Russian issue.
Dude, that's not how I operate. They gatekeep. You think they want to bring me on to talk about, expose all their shit and all their disinfo? Of course not. I'm persona non grata and blacklisted from all these networks. Have you not realized that? So yeah, promoting Sneeko, Dajjal, this guy, Dugan is.
Dugan is into this stuff.
the-
People don't understand that. He knows about all this stuff. He's an expert on like what I would call like the eschatological layering of all these stories. He talks about it constantly.
Mm-hmm. We started the show with it, with the clips of him outlining all of this.
Yeah.
He's egging it on and inciting it.
The only one that has not yet come to fruition is quite a stunning prediction. Do you stand by it, and what have you seen so far that leads you to sort of stand firm in that conclusion?
So, given my analysis of how the war is progressing, I think that Iran has many more advantages over the United States. The reality is that right now, it's a war of attrition between the United States and Iran.
Okay, we're going to skip to the end part. Hold on.
Adelson have been financing Trump's political career, right? So Miriam Adelson, a few months back, said that she will put up $250 million if Trump were to run a third term. So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him.
Oh, also, Dinsdale says be friendly to the Russian shills. Like, I mean, I am being friendly. I'm pointing out how they're wrong. I'm pointing out that they're Russia shills. I'm not going to not tell the truth about all their pushback on all their propaganda and disinfo because with the hopes that they'll have me on to promote the book. That's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. No, they don't promote anything that's anti-Christian. That's not their rhetoric.
Him to influence the midterms. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think at the ballot box, he probably won't get it. But if there's a war going on and you can delay elections, and you have
I've been saying this for years too.
And people will rally around the flag, then he probably will get a third term. And the last factor that is very important is the eschatological factor, where if you look at the Epstein files, it's clear that we are run by secret societies. It's clear that the world is run by these individuals who have a lot of power. We don't know who they are, but they control.
We do know who they are. What do you mean? We have the files. We see the names. We know who they are. And he's going to call them satanic secret societies and secret Khazars and Baal Moloch worshippers. Why not just Yahweh, dude? How can you say they're following a biblical script for Armageddon and Messiahs and Antichrist, but then act like it's not just Yahweh and regular Abrahamic religions that are behind it? Why invent these ghosts, get people chasing ghosts and demons and secret Satanists when that's not what it is? That's the disinfo.
Control the military. They control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of three major groups, okay? You have the Jesuits, who control the Vatican. You have the Sephardim Frankists, which control the modern state of Israel today. And you have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus of the United States. And they
see, this is what's stupid too. Calling it the Illuminati. The Illuminati was set up like opposed to the authority of the church and the dogma of Abrahamic religions. That's what it actually was. Blaming Yeah.
It's crossing the wires on all like these classical conspiracy theories. Is what I would
Right.
say. It's not. It's like basically. It's like somebody took every conspiracy theory ever, mashed it up in like an AI, and then he went and read through all of them, and like he's just using different parts of them that he doesn't really understand how they connect or what their actual history is.
Birchbone sent $5. Dugan and the Jew Vladimir Solovyov have been threatening my native Finland for at least a decade.
They threaten everybody.
Finland as a part of his Eurasian land empire. They think we're going to greet the Russian army with flowers.
They said that in the last winter war and during World War II. And I would say this about that, as far as Finland goes, Russia can't even take Ukraine. Like they can't even like advance in Ukraine. So the idea that they'd be able to advance in Finland, I think you guys are going to be probably safe there, just because every time Russia's ever tried that you kind of whoop their asses up there. So.
Yeah, I'll grant Abrahamic religions, Freemasons, which is almost just kind of like another manifestation of Abrahamic religion. Sabbatean Frankists, that's another just messianic manifestation of Israel.
Freemasons are literally third temple cultists, and like to what degree there's like Freemasonic, there is Freemasonic things linked to America and the national security state. That is part of it. You can even Mormonism is like an outgrowth of Freemasonry as well. So this idea that like Freemasonry has it has an influence on what's going on, but it's just like a sect or like a subsect. It's a subdivision of Messianic Judaism. Exactly.
It's an expression of Judaism in Solomon's temple and Noahides and stuff. Exactly.
It's Kabbalah for the Gentiles is really what Freemasonry is. That's how I could best describe it in a very short, succinct way.
That the world is run by these individuals who have a lot of power. We don't know who they are, but they control the military. They control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of three major groups.
Who else was trying to connect Epstein to Illuminati? Jay Dyer on Alex Jones. Note. Also, they're doing Candace is Khazarian Frankists. Dugan's doing the Baal worshippers. Guys, it's the Judeo-Christian, Netanyahu and Trump and the Christian Zionists are Yahweh worshippers. It's Yahweh. It's Yahweh. It's Jews. It's the Torah. This guy wants to blame Khazarians for what the Jews in Torah are doing. Classic misdirection, deflection that I've been exposing for years dealing with these people that won't address the Abrahamic question.
Yeah.
Okay, you have
the Khazar theory thing is wild because remember in this past summer I was saying that this was going to be like this big thing that our ability to deal with Khazar theory and its outgrowths, any type of redirection, like this was going to end up being the big battle as far as social media is concerned. At least 50% of anti-Zionists online think it's like some sort of Khazar, Sabbatean, Frankist thing. It's crazy.
Dude, look at this shit, okay, guys? He started his account in 2023. My account was banned in 2020. 3 years after mine, he covers basic bitch conspiracy stuff in a cringe way in front of a whiteboard, explodes to 1.4 million subscribers, boosted by every algorithm, never censored at all, brought on every single platform. He's not even a real like college professor either, whatever this shtick is going on. But look at these views. 13 hours ago, the U.S.-Iran war, 600,000 views. And I already went over in a show a while back. He was doing all these pro-Putin things and anti-Western hegemony. Clearly, he's a part of some anti-Western psyop.
Well, I'll just be more. You can be more direct. Even he promotes the concept of multipolarity as inevitable, and that concept right there, promoting multipolarity as the inevitable outcome of this whole thing, that is a Duganist idea that he harps on in his writings over and over and over again. I could literally just go through for the rest of the stream just showing that. Basically, that's what he talks about in his writings constantly.
Yep.
Jesuits who control the Vatican. You have the Sabbatean Frankists, which control the modern state of Israel today. And you have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus.
Okay, there's no proof Sabbatean Frankists are still in charge of Israel. Sabbatean Frankists was a failed messianic movement that Jews feel as like a false messiah, that they were opposed to. Jews in Israel are about following the 613 mitzvahs, not redemption through sin, and they view that as heretical. So you're going to get people chasing ghosts forever with this Sabbatean Frankish shit when you're not just criticizing Yahweh and Orthodox Judaism and Chabad Lubavitch.
Of the United States. And they believe that Israel, this war in the Middle East, is key to the end times in creating heaven on earth. So it's almost like a...
See, that's not Sabbatean Frankist. That's just Chabad Lubavitch. That's just Orthodox Judaism thinks that.
Script that they're following, even though it doesn't make any geopolitical sense. Okay, so I would say that these three are the best reasons why this is happening.
Wow. Well, sir, I hope you come back. This was very informative, I think, for both of us. We deeply appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right. So that was on Breaking Points. It's probably, they have 1.7 million subscribers. Dugan's sharing it. Look at this, another viral tweet about it, predicting that Iran's going to win the war and America's going to lose. This is some of the clips of his analysis. Look at this. This is how Sam Tripoli on Danny Jones' show yesterday saying, oh, it's not the Abrahamics, it's the Baal worshipers, and they worship Moloch, and it's the secret Babylonians, and the Jews are just the scapegoats and middle management, and we all just got to believe in Jesus. And look how they start the show.
Professor Zhang's theory on Pax Israeli. What is it? Pax
about them wanting everybody to hate
Pax
them.
Judaica. Yeah.
Dude, the guy pops up on YouTube 3 years ago, and now he's the leading expert of talking about Jews and their Zionist agenda. Isn't that a little wild?
Yeah.
And he just happens to be tied in with all the Russian ops.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I have to do a whole review of this. If you'll do it, I know we're 2.5. We'll probably save this for Thursday.
Zhang's theory on Pax Israeli. What is it? Pax
about them wanting everybody to hate
Pax
them.
Judaica. Yeah, about their end time prophecy.
Yeah, 100%.
They need
They're
the
taking
world
a real
to
concept
burn.
and they're just
and all,
it's
it's
not good.
All this end time shit is all a giant Broadway production. It's all being created by these groups of elites that have this whole. We just had Gary Wayne on my show. He's like, if you ever want to interview.
Okay, we're not going to do that whole thing now, but I got a bunch of timestamps for that. That's how they start the show. It's like, you know, Sam, who else was talking about, you know, end times prophecies and Trump and war with Iran and Trump getting back in power? I was saying it long before that dude was. And I'm not injecting all the little disinfo at the end of it that's deflecting from what it really is. All right, hold on. Let's go. I want to see a little bit of this to wrap it up, probably. We're almost at the end here. What he's saying about how Iran is going to win.
Actually, those nations that are poor actually have more energy. They're more open, and they're more cohesive. All right, so let me give an example. This is what we call the Shahad drones. Shahad drones. Each of these drones costs $50,000 at most, okay? At most. It can go as cheap as $35,000 US.
Count how many times he says okay. Every time he makes a point, he says okay, and it drives me absolutely nuts.
But one of them is $50,000. As you can see, you can fit a lot of these drones to a truck that can go anywhere in Iran, and they can hide anywhere. All right? So the thing to understand is, first of all, these drones are cheap.
All right.
They're easy to make. They make about 500 a day. Okay? And estimates are about 50,000 right now that the Iranians have. So they can go on for a long, long time. Okay? And one of these drones,
okay,
we just bombed the shit out of the factories making these, by the way.
What?
We just bombed the shit out of one of the factories that make these drones.
Yeah, that's a good point too. We could just bomb the factories that make them,
Well, we just
and
did.
then your analysis is off. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay.
An oil field. It can knock out a hotel. It can do a lot of damage. Okay. And it's easily transportable. You can hide it anywhere. You can use it from anywhere. Okay.
Okay.
And that's what the Iranians are using as an offensive weapon. And how do the Americans defend against this? They use something called a THAAD, right?
THAAD? Isn't it TH?
This is what they
Not a
use.
THAAD missile. Yeah.
THAAD stands for Thermal High Altitude Air Defense. And they also have like Patriot systems. There's a lot, okay? The thing that you need.
Yeah, what kind of class teaches this shit also? This is not some real, he's a high school teacher in Canada or community college. What is this? What is this fake whiteboard shit?
To know about the system is,
I don't know. I like this style. This style is so good for idiots, right? Like this must go so hard because people are like primed to learn this way because they spent like 12 years in high school and in middle school, basically in some situation like this. So it is an effective way to kind of get these kind of information out there.
Yeah, it's like I'm a student. I'm a scholar. I go to university. My Illuminati class. Yeah. Whiteboard equals smart. Whiteboarding glasses equals smart.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's
this missile, guys.
I don't even think he has a PhD also, too. My understanding is he doesn't even have a PhD. He's calling himself professor.
Costs $1 million. $1 million.
Okay.
So there's this
he didn't do it.
drone coming your way, and you throw a $1 million
He's
missile at
right
it,
about
okay?
these
And
too. He's
often
about
these
the
missiles
economics at play here.
Yeah.
miss, you have to throw
Yeah,
2
he
or 3
is.
missiles at it, okay?
Hold on.
So you're spending $2 to $3 million on each $50,000 that the Iranians spend. That's kind of silly. Second thing you'll notice is that this thing is really big and really slow. And therefore, you can't really move it around. Therefore, it's pretty easy for the Iranians to
Yes, you
spot
can.
where this is and attack it. And then when these things blow up, that's a lot of money, guys. Okay? Then you're like,
Yeah, well, good thing Trump just upped the military budget to 1.5 trillion. And money they just print from thin air anyway. So what does that matter?
this makes no sense.
Hey, more money for the military contractors, right?
You know the Iranians have drones. They've had drones for like 10 years. You've also seen drones used in the Russia-Ukraine war.
Dude, those drones can't even go fast enough to probably keep up with these though, right? Don't these go too high and too fast? Those little drones can't keep up with these.
To devastating effect.
Well, they take them out. They do beat them. The problem is that it's a swarm. They have so many of them that it's difficult to take them out, all of them out efficiently. Is basically the way it works.
Hey, if these drones work so well, then how come we just attack? If these drones work so well, how come they didn't just protect the supreme leader?
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, they haven't really used them effectively too much.
Yeah, he's like he's speaking to BitChute scholars. You're right.
The Americans know this.
Okay, there's one. Here's another one. The Iranians have announced total war, which means command and control are decentralized.
Against decentralization, again.
Funny, he just seems like he's like wargaming how Iran can beat America.
The Iranians see this as a religious war. And so the Iranians have
so do we.
announced total war.
Yeah, well, we changed our name from Department of Defense to Department of War, so.
Okay?
What now?
What this means is that right now,
the Khazarians, okay?
In Iran is decentralized. There's no one person telling everyone what to do. Every region has its own orders, has its own strategy. And so if you knock out Tehran, everyone else keeps on going. So if you take off the head, it doesn't change anything.
Dude, they're going to knock all of those out, bro. What are you talking about?
Okay? But unfortunately, the
emotional damage.
Israelis and Americans use this as a military doctrine. Military doctrine just means how you design your military for what purpose. And so even though the Americans seem like an invincible army, they are not equipped to fight a 21st century war against drones, against decentralization, against religious fanatics. Okay, they're just not. All right? But unfortunately, because of military doctrine, they're going to keep on attacking Tehran. Now, the great irony of all this is that the Iranians who would be most supportive of regime change, are actually in the cities because they are educated, they're progressive. The people who are most fundamentally against you, will fight you to the death, are religious fanatics, the Shia militants living in the rural areas.
Rural?
So
areas.
Thing where you are actually destroying those who will most likely support you, and you're leaving alone those who are most likely to commit jihad against you.
Dude, big time game theory, dude. I'm convinced. We're cooked.
Shia.
One more.
Empire. All right, so what they want to do.
All right, okay.
And so the first thing that the Iranians want to do is create a jihad to unite all the Shia against the American empire. All right, so what they want to do is create
300 million
uprising.
Muslims in the globe, basically on the whole globe. That's all. 300 million compared to the 2 billion, like almost 2 billion.
Bear sent $10 on Rumble.
Thank you, Maxed Out Bear. Egg roll Elmer Fudd.
Egg roll.
And it's already happening, guys. The Shia in Pakistan stormed the American embassy in Pakistan.
Dude, it's the most base class of all time.
Killed a lot of people, okay? The Shia have attacked the American embassy.
Yeah. What university would host this guy? How come there's nobody like trying to get him banned or attacks anywhere also for all the shit he's been saying.
In Iraq, the American embassy are being attacked in a lot of places, right? So the first strategy is to create a international global jihad of the Shia against the American empire. And it's already happening. It will continue for a long time because the Americans have killed the other.
And Dugan's calling for that on Twitter for a global Shia insurrection.
Dude, yeah, he is. And Dugan just posted because somebody posted, why is the Americans killing little girls in Iran? And he just retweeted and said, because of Amalek. Like he is so into all this stuff. He knows what's going on. It's
Khamenei, okay? And that requires vengeance. The other thing, though, is that it can unify the Muslim world, okay? If you look at this map, most of the Muslim world is actually run by dictatorships that are not popular at all, okay? And they're allowed to exist because of the American empire, right? You go to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Algeria, these places, they're all run by clients of the American empire, right? So if you rally the people who hate their governments and you overthrow them, then that makes Iran the leader of the Islamic world. Not just the Shia world, but the Islamic world. And this creates something called Pax Islamica. That is the end goal, guys. Okay?
Okay.
If you do that, then you don't have to worry about the Americans and the Israelis anymore. Right? So the Israeli game plan, the American game plan, is to fracture Iran into ethnic enclaves, and they'll fight over water for the rest of their lives. And
enclaves?
The Iranian game plan is to create a religious war, a crusade, that unifies the Shia people, that overthrows the American empire and establishes something called the Pax Islamica.
Dude.
They have, I can't say it because I don't speak Arabic, but they have a specific term for that in Sunni and Shia Islam about like basically like Pax Islamica, kind of that concept where they'll rule, the Mahdi's going to rule over like an Islamic like righteous government basically. So.
Here's another example too that Amalek just shared with me. This junior account that's always posting the worst disinfo. Tel Aviv is getting smacked by bombs. Does this actually help Iran to just lie about them winning when you're not winning?
Do either of you believe Muhammad was a historical figure? Apparently in Iran the black turbans represent descendants of Muhammad. Is this symbolic or genetic?
I haven't looked deep into it, but the guy that wrote Nailed, David Fitzgerald, says he looked into Muhammad some, and there's not very good evidence. And Muslims are starting, or Arabs are starting to realize, like, when they try to find proof for it, there's not good proof.
Yeah, and Carrier's talked about this too. He went to like some conference that was about mythicism, and they were, and he said kind of a similar idea that it seems to be that basically Muhammad's version is a little bit behind because of they behead people and stuff. So a lot of the scholars have to like hide out or do things anonymously. But I think that Muhammad is also a mythical person as well. I think that basically he was crafted by the court of Ali as a sort of like backdated prophet that sort of justifies the Quran.
If Jesus is made up, then Muhammad's probably made up also. And they're all falling for the Jesus deception. Yo, guys, we smashed the goal already, and we got almost 800 people in here. Let's go.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Thank you all so much. 30,000 likes, 2.1 million views. Not even a community note. It's like, why are all these Russia shills saying that Iran's going to win and Israel's toast and America's going to fall and Tel Aviv's being bombed into the Stone Age and when it's not happening? Very, very bizarre. Is it just for clicks and engagement, or is there something more sinister propaganda going on here?
Well, that junior account constantly denies that Jesus is Jewish, constantly all the time. So it's like either he does Khazar theory or I mean, to deny that Jesus is Jewish as a Muslim, any imam, any trained imam would point out that the Quran specifically states multiple times that Jesus is he's Jewish, his mother is Jewish, and he's like a long line of Jewish prophets is essentially how they see Jesus. Okay. So going against the Quran like that, he's like just a kafir when he does that. Like
So dumb to use
he's
the Roman
whoever's
Pax
whoever's
Islamica
behind that
Jewish and
account
Islamic
is
yoke.
either like a heretic in Islam or it's like not a Muslim is what I would say. It's one of those things.
Watcher says Pax Islamica, no, so dumb to use the Roman Pax Romana for Jewish and Islamic eras. Yeah, I don't. Well, you know, it's like I said, it's a Dugan thing of calling it Pax Judaica. He's the one I think that's popularizing this term. When his Duganist friends are doing it. Hey, I woke up in the middle of the night, grabbed my 5-year-old daughter, went out and saw the blood moon. It was really small and high in the sky, but it was still, I could see the shadow of the earth. I could see, you know, the red hue to it. Pretty cool. It's amazing how we're able to calculate to the exact minute all of these eclipses, you know, so far, years, hundreds of years in the past and in the future. It's pretty cool. Let's see. We're going to save some stuff for the next show, I think. Okay, Dugan's ball worship. I did a man on the street. Follow on Twitter for the latest man on the street with the Zionist street preacher. He wasn't very happy. UFO orbs. Oh, the Messianic fever, too. We got Cernovich and everybody's super hyped for the resurrection of the Christ. He says it's going to, part 1 and part 2, March and May of 2027, early next year, a year from today, basically. That's going to be wild. Just the Jesus simping and the Christ brain is going to absolutely explode when that movie comes out. We think we're seeing a Christ revival now. Do you think it's getting kosher? Joe Rogan shilling Jesus shit now? Just wait until that, when the war is escalating and everybody's prophecy has prophecy mania, like we already see.
Dude, Dugan is totally on, but he knows what's good. He's literally referencing the Seoshant, which is the Zoroastrian version, and he's linking that to the Mahdi and Iran. Like, he absolutely understands this stuff, guys. Fuck off. I hate him. I feel like he's like fucking with me with his tweets. Like,
he's instigating. He's instigating you, pushing the prophecies to like the Bene Gesserit to have this managed, planned, fabricated apocalyptic war. Here's Jones talking about Fuentes. Fuentes was on with Jones today. I wonder how that went. I'll have to see some clips of that.
It's just unbelievable.
Maybe tomorrow.
Israel's trying to get us all killed. Netanyahu's trying to get us all killed. Tucker Carlson's totally right that Bibi's out of control. Israel's out of control. And Nick Fuentes is totally vindicated in his predictions of all of this. Because last year, during the election 2 years ago, he said, Trump's going to go to full war with Iran.
And who else was saying that, guys? Who else has been saying that? Well, Nick, I was saying that in Trump's first term, while Nick was shilling and doing Stop the Steal for Trump and pledging his allegiance to Trump.
It's just going to roll.
I'm also going to go over the Sam Tripoli, Danny Jones. First 15 minutes or so was the best part I want to review. And I posted on Twitter. I tagged them both. I said, hey, let's talk about Jesus deception. I disagree with Tripoli. It's Danny Jones isn't even a Christian. He was pushing back on the fallen angels and Moloch ball worship stuff. So you can't use the excuse that you're scared to offend Christians when you had Amon Hillman on and says Jesus is a pedophile. Hey, let's talk about the Jesus conspiracy. Come on, it's only the most polarizing, influential figure central to everything that's unfolding in our discourse and our culture today. Let's talk about it. I do have an Amazon best-selling book on the topic. Let's do it. What's the excuse?
Do you have a title?
One more thing. He also pointed out that Peter Thiel is promoting the Bible and prophecy, antichrist stuff also. So
Everybody
seems like
has their own version of this right now. It's like basically we're at the point where there's like multiple competing versions of apocalyptic Messianic Judaism just like battling each other, and that's what's happening. Everyone has their own narrative, and it's like competing, dueling narratives. But they kind of all are the same, right? Because they all use the same vocabulary, motifs, and things like that.
Yep. Okay, let's hear a little bit about Passion of the Christ, and then we're going to close it out. 3-hour show today. At least we hit the goal, though.
Title?
Yeah, it's just like the resurrection of the Christ. Yeah, it's like, so that's a title. And yeah, it's very ambitious. That's all I'll say. It took a long time to write. It's really ambitious, and it goes from like the fall of the angels to the death of the last apostle.
Do you have a start date?
The fall of the angels. This is what Sam Tripoli was saying. Oh, the fallen angels are in control of everything. It's the Nephilim. It's the demons. It's the
Enoch stuff that I talked about before, right?
Yep.
They're
Candace
trying to
Owens.
loop
Enoch's a real book. Candace Owens says, yeah.
They're trying to loop in Enoch stuff into, like I said, sci-fi as a genre. Enoch is an ancient sci-fi genre piece. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Jack Stone. He says Trump appointed Mel Gibson as the ambassador to Hollywood, along with the Noahide proponent John Voight, the actor. Totally right. This is what we're getting. Noahide Messianic propaganda with the Jesus movies.
I don't have a start date. I just have to begin pre-production and see what happens. And it's just going to roll in its own time. It's taking its own time. I thought it was late. I thought, it's taking too long. It's taking too long, but it's probably just right. Yeah, it's when it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you believe
right for the apocalyptic war.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you're right.
I think I'm right. My instincts are that I'm right.
Yeah.
And if I was going to trust anybody with that story, it would be you.
Yeah.
And now Rogan's gone full Jesus shill. Also, #1 podcast in the world, all the mainstream alternative media, Fox News, all the pro-Zionists, all the biggest anti-Zionists, all shilling Jesus as the solution. Full Moshiach spectrum dominance. Everything's a fight over a Moshiach in prophecies, and this is why we're going to lose. This is why the world is the state it is today. Yeah, he was promoting Shroud of Turin bullshit on this stream too.
I don't know. It's a massive thing. And theologically, it's something that you have to really look at and make correlations that
like what correlate? Correlations about the Jews. Jews killed Jesus. Is that what you're getting at?
Consult with some
real world correlations. Full Moshiach spectrum dominance.
Scholar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Spiritual battle, bro. It's like we gotta believe in Jesus because there's so many demons, man.
Read the book a few times. You read the book a few times, and it's amazing how your memory, how there's these recessive files somewhere in the background, how you can correlate this piece to that piece over there. And that's important because juxtaposition is everything with this story. And what it means in a bigger picture.
Yeah.
What is he even
I
saying?
actually understand what he's saying. I mean, I kind of get what he's saying.
Involved.
I mean,
yeah, well, I can only imagine.
It's the contradictions in the story of Jesus, and those contradictions, like the moral of the story of Jesus, that's what is like what they call truth. Like that's the truth. Like that's basically the whole concept of Christ is like, how do they manage those contradictions? I kind of understand what he's saying. This is kind of what I think he was.
Let's hear the latest from Candace's show yesterday, blaming Khazarians once again.
Okay, you guys, I need you to listen very carefully. A little bit of history. I'm going to go through it quickly. You have probably heard, maybe vaguely, the conspiracy, quote unquote conspiracy, from people who print the textbooks, that we're being ruled by the Khazarian mafia, right? This empire that existed 8th and 9th and 10th century.
So not a Jewish mafia, not an Abrahamic paradigm. These supposed Khazarians that don't exist, that you can never prove, that don't have any books you can expose, that you're never going to arrest the Khazar. You're never going to bring down the Khazarian mafia when the Khazarian mafia doesn't exist, and it's just a Jewish, Judeo-Abrahamic mafia. Dude, I need to get the Apple Watch so I can measure my heart rate and keep the cortisol low.
About and then magically disappeared. Magically, nobody knew. It was a Turkic tribe. They were a nomadic tribe, and then they mass converted to Judaism, and they mixed in. Okay, they mixed in with people who were actually Jews, and they call this a conspiracy that the people that live in Israel right now are the Khazarian mafia. In 1881, the Russian Tsar was assassinated by a Jewish revolutionary gang from what was known as the Pale of Settlement. After the assassination, many of the associated people that were involved, little gang that put together, they emigrated to Italy. They emigrated to the United States. You learn this in your textbook as there were pogroms. No context. For no reason, kicked out of a country. There's actually no evidence they were ever kicked out, but they left. The revolutionaries left. And there were actually, all throughout this time frame, by the way, these sorts of revolutions happening all across Europe, trying to overthrow and divide Christian kingdoms. Deeply organized revolutions. And then they emigrated in mass into the United States as victims. And they brought with them their revolutionary ideas. I like to say they were anarchists.
What, you mean like from the Talmud and the Torah? Or some secret books, Khazarian books, supposed Baal. They'll call the Khazarians Moloch and Baal worshippers. Like, we're talking to people 1,000 years apart in a completely different area. If the Khazars did exist, I doubt they were worshiping Baal and Canaanite gods. Right?
No,
Isn't that stupid too?
No, yeah, it's they were syncretizing, if anything, like Tengriism, which is like a form of paganism. It's a Turkic form of paganism, a Central Asian form of paganism. They were like syncretizing that with what you'd call like Jewish mystical traditions, if anything. Like that's their best.
The story about the mass conversion of Khazarians to Judaism comes from, is it Rabbi Halevi, I believe it is?
Yep.
And it's a fake story about how they were looking, the king was trying to decide which is the best religion between Christianity and Islam and Judaism, and lo and behold, Judaism was the best. It's a polemic against Christianity and Islam. It was a fake story about this. Maybe based on a kernel of truth, of some conversions, but still, we do the DNA genetic test. They link back to the Middle East. A lot of the Jews in Israel aren't even Ashkenazi. They're Sephardic. So it's just all stupid. This is all a deflection from Jews and Judaism and the Torah.
Obviously, but also you should think of them as gypsies in the truest sense of the word. They will learn
pagan white gypsies.
Move
That's the problem.
Move, and wherever they go, they bring their filth with them. They're just murderous communists. I don't know what to tell you. Established racketeering mafias. You guys know unions are associated with mafia and the mobs. This is our inheritance. Our entire history and our present is a gangster's paradise in America. Hollywood exists to glamorize the filthiest people, that work in the most debased industries. It's not entertainment. It's always been disgusting. It's always been about filth, prostitution, importing people from Vienna and trying to collapse America. Successful all across Europe, what they did. The Christian empires got divided. And here we are today, right? This is what we're facing in America. You have to understand this.
So what is she saying? The Protestant Reformation, the Orthodox Catholic schism is all Khazarians meddling? Is that what she's going with? They'll say stuff like, it's not the Jews, it's not the Muslims, it's not the Christians. The real ones of those are all good. It's only the imposter Khazarians that have infiltrated them. So whenever, we can't ever point out these secret Khazarian societies that exist, because they don't. So instead, you're just giving a pass to what we know does exist, and we can prove and we can pinpoint. That's all it does. And of course, Kooky Candace is doing it. Last one, Amalek. How you doing?
Good. I'm chilling.
Okay.
I'm
all right.
Dugan's keeping me fucking pissed.
You're monitoring the Dugan situation?
I hate it. He
Okay.
just tweeted a photo of the black flag guys that come from Iran in the end time story. So that's like kind of one of that's like the third stage. So he's literally Benny Jesuiting, like he's encouraging this like chaotic end times bullshit. Like he's just,
Yeah,
it's like
he's in trying to incite sleeper cell attacks and lone wolf attacks amongst the West at a bare minimum.
Well,
Okay,
he
so I
definitely
just
understands the psychological downstream effects, at least, right? Like he understands the way it makes people, it drives people crazy, and it incites.
he's trying to rile up with messianic mania and apocalyptic mania to have a huge war where the West gets destroyed, clearly, because he knows Kabbalah and loves Kabbalah. All right, so I found this guy, I think on TikTok, no, Instagram it looks like. Big Instagram account. Look, this has 13,000 likes. It's a mishmash of several of the kosher conspiracies. They're secretly Edom, synagogue of Satan, believe in Jesus. But let's go what he says. He goes, but the good news is, guys, is that we don't need to do anything to stop it. Nothing to stop it. 13,000 likes for this slop by this guy who I think very clearly is in the closet gay.
So it's not the Jews, it's the Edomites posing as Jews.
You see, it's not the Jews, it's the Khazarians posing as Jews. It's not the Jews, it's the Sabbatean Frankists. All of these kosher conspiracies that result in it's not the Jews and the Bible is real are kosher slop. Okay, I'm not going to stop it the whole place.
So it's not the Jews, it's the Edomites posing as Jews. Edomites are the Canaanites, and if you know the Bible, you know the story of Jacob and Esau. Esau was cursed. He went and married 2 Canaanite women, and their tribes became the Edomites. The Edomites were eventually absorbed into Israel and were converted into Jews, but they kept their dastardly ways, and they are the synagogue of Satan that Jesus was rebuking because they were living amongst the Israelites at the time. And from what I read, King Herod was actually part Edomite. But long story short, they killed Jesus, they killed the real Messiah. Their whole thing was about stealing back the blessing that Esau stole from Jacob. So they killed Christ and have been working with Satan.
Whoa. He got that backwards.
I was just gonna,
You hear that?
They killed Jesus.
They always
They
do
killed
this.
the-
The people that think, oh, they're the Edomites, they always get everything backwards.
Because it's twisted. Their theory doesn't align with what the Bible actually says with stealing the birthright, or it's Jacob that pretends to be Esau, not Esau that pretends to be Jacob. So he's got it wrong. Look at this. He gets it wrong.
Messiah. Their whole thing was about stealing back the blessing that Esau stole from Jacob.
Jacob stole the blessing from Esau, so wrong.
They killed Christ and have been working with Satan to destroy the world. But in the Bible, it's written that the righteous tribes will rise and that God will destroy each and every one of them, and that the Edomites will go to live in the Holy Land, the fake Jews, the ones who worship the Star of Rephaim, the 6-pointed star that they have on the flag and have legitimized to all of us via their psyops. The 6-pointed star Jews, those are the Edomites posing as Jews. But they're really just continuing the Canaanite practice of child sacrifice, satanic Baal worship, Moloch worship, all that nasty such Saturn worship, child eating, child blood drinking, child sacrifice, etc. And they're posing as Jews. And they are the ones that Jesus Christ called the synagogue of Satan. And so it's not the Jews.
And dude, so gay. Somebody needs to give this Christian the talk. You know what I mean?
It's the Edomites posing as Jews. The Khazars, the Ashkenazis, the Canaanites.
And see, now blending in Khazars with Edomites. So it's already imposter Jews with Edomites, but we got double imposters now with Khazars too. Just like blending all the kooky kosher conspiracies, shilling Jesus, and then he says, don't do anything because God's going to save us.
Isn't it crazy?
Prophetically paralyzed.
Isn't it crazy, like sociologically, or the theology that they're building here? That's like, it's like a unique not spontaneous, because it is obviously like psyop promoted and stuff like that. But isn't it interesting how this is like forming in front of our eyes? This is like how religion develops. You know what I mean? It's very interesting.
Burger_Kang sent $5 on Rumble. Doesn't Amalek know you have to crawl over ice to join the Black Flag Army? Mahdi in control. 2 more weeks Israel will fight the Third Worlders, LOL.
Yep, that's right.
The Edomites posing as Jews. The Khazars, the Ashkenazis, the Canaanites that basically migrated to Ukraine. But the good thing is, according to the Bible, we don't need to do anything.
There it is, guys.
All right, man.
Hey, that's the good news.
And I need you to tell me the truth. Are you a fag?
Guys, they're eating babies, but we don't need to do anything. Just pray and trust the plan and believe in Jesus. This guy is like vindicating everything I always say about these kosher conspiracies in one little video. And of course, 13,000 likes on Instagram. Prophecy cucked. Yeah. Good news, guys. We just don't even need to do anything because, like, God's going to save us from the synagogue of Satan Edomites, Ashkenazis.
Canaanites that basically migrated to Ukraine. But the good thing is, according to the Bible, we don't need to do anything. God is going to smite each and every one of them. And he said he was going to do it when they return to Jerusalem, which they all are. And they're going to try to bring about a fake Messiah, but God's going to destroy each and every one of them. He said he's going to destroy the entire bloodline of Esau, all of the Edomites.
So 99% of all rabbis, 100% of all rabbis view us as Esau and Edom, and only these schizo meme Christians on the fringes of the internet come up with this cope that they're really Esau. So which one's really going to pan out? Who's in control? Who's in the driver's seat? Who has the upper hand? Instead of us exposing that they view us as Esau and want to destroy Edom America, you got this, you're mirroring their madness with a conspiracy that's never going to go anywhere.
I can't wait to see God do that. So
can't wait till God saves us. Wow. There it is.
Are you not entertained?
Super based.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
All right, that's all we're going to do today. It's the Illuminati, actually. All right, thank you, Amalek, for joining. Big help today.
That was a fun one. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we made it through 3 hours. I told you I had a lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We covered a lot of ground, a lot of important ground.
Yeah, very cool.
I got to
Check
go
out my
watch.
article, guys. And yeah, it was a good one.
I got to go watch when I was on Sam Tripoli 6 months before the election in 2024. Apparently, I made a bunch of predictions that all came out about to the T. So if anybody wants to help with that and clip it, maybe any of the good predictions I made, because I can't stand going back and watching myself. And I got books to ship, books to pack and ship, a few more to get caught up. And I got the rest of my Man on the Streets to edit as well. I posted one of the best ones with the street preacher, the Zionist, so check that out. Richard Spencer tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. David Scribina on Friday. Western Alliance next Tuesday. And we're going to keep up to date, covering it all. Thank you, Burger Kangs.
Burger_Kangs sent $5 on Rumble. Didn't you know?
Yeah.
Ashkenaz was a descendant of Japheth, not Shem. 2 more weeks or the true Israelites will be in control.
Well, they're not even from. There was no Ashkenaz, or there was no Noah. There was no 12 tribes. But yeah, I love it. 2 more weeks.
Corey Mailerism, he's like popping off on Twitter right now saying stupid shit like Moses didn't speak Hebrew.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, guys. The Mahdi is going to save us all, okay? The Iran prophecy war all going down. We're trying to keep up with all of it. Share the link, clip the show, give it a like, comment below, subscribe star link below, buy the book below. You guys know what to do. Love you all. Thank you, Amalek. Follow Amalek on Twitter as well and on Substack. And I will see you guys tomorrow with Richard Spencer talking about all the news. Take care.